Welcome to Fat Man. I'm Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
Hey!
Oh.
We are here live, as always, at the Scum and Villainy Cantina on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California. Put your hands together so that the audience knows that you're at home, knows you're real. Woo! Well, it is the Monday after justice was served, ladies and gentlemen. So we get to talk about Justice League most of the show. But before we dive into that, how have you been?
I'm doing well, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, Thanksgiving. I'm preparing
You're like, I like food.
I'm preparing to blow right through these pants, as one does on Thanksgiving.
To just get bigger?
Pretty much,
Do the
man.
John Travolta? I heard once that he's got 2 pair of pants on every show. The pair of pants pre-lunch and post-lunch.
Wow.
And somebody said at lunch, like one of his things on a rider once, this blew my mind, was bunt cake. So, like, he always had a bunt cake for lunch, and that's why they had a second pair of pants. I was like, the guy's living the life. We were coming in from backstage, man, here at the Scum and Villainy Cantina for those that can't see the show. Well, wait, if you're watching this on YouTube, all right, look around you. It's like, you can see what it looks like. So it's kind of, once you're in, you're in, right? You're kind of surrounded by the environment and shit. We were just out in the hallway before the show got started, and there was a door that, like, that's where they keep, like, the liquor and the closet and shit like that, and it was just open a little bit, and it totally ruined the illusion, man.
This isn't a space bar after all.
Really, man. It was like going to the, like, Mos Eisley spaceport and then seeing, like, the Disney crew backstage or something. Shut that door, JC. Okay, let's see. What have I been up to? I mean, I guess.
Where you been?
I saw Justice League twice this weekend. Well, I saw once with you on what, Wednesday night?
Yeah.
And then I saw it once on opening day. So I saw it twice, but that was during the week. I don't know what the fuck I did this weekend. I watched The Punisher a little bit.
Yeah? How do you feel?
I've watched 2 episodes. I mean, I gotta put aside 11 hours to be depressed because it is so fucking sad, dude. Like, you know, when you watch that trailer, like, motherfucker's gonna kill shit, shit's gonna blow up to the beat of a fucking song from Metallica. And the first 2 episodes are just like, his family, they're really dead, aren't they? You know, it's not like a Spider-Man Uncle Ben thing where he's like, oh, it's my uncle, with great power comes responsibility. Anyway, fuck that, on with the adventure. Every fucking scene in The Punisher ends with him being like, they're gone, aren't they? And you see him get gone, and you feel his pain. It's about fucking loss, man.
It never gets better, Red. It never fucking gets better.
How many episodes have you seen?
I've seen 7.
It's as hey, look, it's insane. What? You've seen 7?
And I'm still standing here.
Yeah, and you haven't called a fucking hotline of some sort? Really? Does it get any happier?
No. No. It is like perennial sunset, man. It's just always going down.
And it's not to say it's bad. It's insanely well made. First episode, you get to spoilers. First episode, you get to see him fucking kill somebody with a sledgehammer in the most interesting of ways. So I was like, right on, man. Like, they're giving you the violence, but like they're really serving up the pathos and really leaning into the, yeah, man, Bambi's mom was fucking killed. Like, in a way that most other, like, super, like, in Justice League, you know, Batman's kind of over his parents in this episode. You know what I'm saying? Last time it was like, Martha. This time he barely mentions his parents at all. Walks in at the end of the movie, he's just like, let's build a clubhouse here where they used to live. But like they haven't, you know, they're like, everyone gets it. He's sad. He lost his parents. We all understand that shit. This is embracing of the source material in a mature way, but a very heartbreaking way. It reminds me of like watching the Thornbirds with my mother when I was a kid, the miniseries.
Whoa.
It was just all so sad. I'm like, why can't this priest and this woman be together? Fuck God.
Because one of them is gay.
What is it?
One of them is gay. They were never going to be together, man.
That's true. Well,
I'm just saying.
in real life or in
Yeah.
the book?
In real life. Richard Chamberlain.
He was gay.
Yes. What? Sorry. Spoiler.
Don't tell my mother. Because I'm relatively sure all while I was growing up, like, he was the king of the miniseries, man. He was in fucking Shogun. Mm-hmm. He was in fucking Thornbirds. And my mother wished he was in fucking Her, I'm pretty sure, man. She was like, oh, that Richard Chamberlain. If I was to be like, yeah, Ma, no chance. Break her heart.
I will say that the Punisher, like at the end of episode 7, has maybe the freakiest sex thing I've seen in a Marvel show ever. Yeah. There's,
What? Spoil it.
Okay, I'm going to spoil it because why the fuck not? There's a scene where Frank is breaking into a military compound to interrogate a high-ranking officer who, once he gets to the house and you sort of peek inside the room, it turns out that he had hired a dominatrix to go to town on him. And so just before Frank bursts through the window, this guy's about to get battery clips attached to his balls. Brought to you by Disney.
Battery what?
Jumper cables.
Attached to his nuts.
Yeah. Which he paid for, because it's a good time.
And yet they still won't let them say fuck on the show? Everyone's like, frickin' bad dude and shit like that. But meanwhile, it's true, they push the edge of the envelope. This is a series, never mind fucking jumper cables to somebody's nuts, sponsored by Disney. Disney sponsored the show where a fucking plot point was an aborted fetus, man, in Jessica Jones, remember?
Yeah.
Deep in the episode, in the run, I'm watching it, spoilers. And then all of a sudden, at one point, they're like, well, this aborted fetus will prove that. And I was like, did they just say aborted fetus in a Disney program? We've come so far. They'll do grown-up-y shit.
No.
They'll do grown-up-y shit, but they won't let them say fuck.
No.
Because that's the end. That's the line.
Yeah, no nudity, no saying the word fuck. Even though, anal sex is clearly on the menu.
It's definitely implied. What, in The Punisher?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
get that mic in your fucking mouth right now. Up. Yeah. There you go. Tired of reading complaints on Twitter. Tell Marc to put a fucking mic in his mouth.
Swallow it.
Okay. I will get back to The Punisher. I definitely will watch it, but it's about as depressing as Walking Dead. Walking Dead's not a good time either, man. Especially, and I'm a wake and baker, so I get up at 6 in the morning. I'm like, what am I gonna watch? And The Walking Dead, I'm like, fuck, man. They're still walking. It's never over.
Still dead.
And shit. Yeah, they're still fucking dead. And then I try to watch that, and I was like, I feel bad for this guy. No wonder he wants to fucking kill everybody.
I think there's more screen time at a therapy meeting for veterans than there is at any other one single thing in The Punisher.
I saw that's true. There's 2 episodes I've watched. I think I've watched 3.
Oh, they spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, talking to the dude.
Because that's a good time. Necessary time for sure. Healing, fundamental, but
yeah, way to shit on PTSD. You're fuck
saying.
that. The idea of 13 episodes is still too long at this point.
Yeah.
I think if you shrunk it down to an even 10, you're totally cool. And then maybe you don't have as much chuffa, or in this case, chuffering, with a lot of pain and shit. Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
All right, so I will get back to that for sure. But you know what I've been watching? I fucking binged it, and then I started watching season 2, which just started last night. Did you watch Search Party on TBS?
No. I should, though, right?
It's fucking clever. Really clever. It's kind of fun. The whole season 1 is a Hardy Boys Nancy Drew mystery, but set in the modern world where nobody really gives a fuck. And it's got Alia Shawkat, fucking Maybe from Arrested Development, as the lead. Really fucking good. But they did something in their final episode of season 1 where you were like, are you shitting me? And so season 2 picks up from that point, and all of a sudden season 2 is radically different from what season 1 was. Season 1 was a mystery, and season 2 is something completely different. Really worth watching. Insanely well written, brief as fuck. Each one's 23 minutes. They're only half-hour mysteries and shit.
Sold.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's well done. I don't know who created it. I should know because I watch every episode. But I kind of zipped through the credits. I saw Michael Showalter's name on it. Dude who used to be on The State, and he directed The Big Sick. And I saw him in an episode. So maybe he's produced it or something like that. Totally worth watching, and on TBS. And holy shit, dude, they get away with content. Maybe they bleep it on the network because I buy it on iTunes and shit. But there's a scene between the fuck. Oh my God, man! I was like, it finally happened. They shot me for Dogma.
And then
10 years later,
and then Metallica comes on, and then it was awesome.
Fuck on hell.
Cheers.
Yeah, really. What were we talking about before I lost my shit in my pants?
Bleeping shit you bought on iTunes.
Yes, there's a scene between two gay characters where one of them is on search party, where one of them is like, I swallow your cum. And I was like, you could say that on TBS? Are you fucking shitting me? Oh my God. Like, I want to pitch a show. It would just be called that. I swallow your cum. Put it right on Front Street and shit. Cartoon.
TBS, the Ballsack Network.
Who knew, man? It was crazy. But the show's really well written, really well done, really well acted. I enjoyed it. It was kind of a discovery. That was a happy, like, alternative to the depressing Punisher, which, again, well made and shit, but I can only take that much sadness in little dollars.
Damn.
That was not designed for binge. Sadness is not a binge watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to do it one at a time. If they'd spread that out weekly, I might be able to handle it better. But, like, you try to fucking do 13 hours straight of that dude's life, fuck it, man.
Did you want to have a good weekend? Fuck you, Punisher.
All right, let's dive back to the subject at hand. Justice League came out.
Yeah, that movie. It happened.
It happened.
We saw it. We saw it. You all saw it, right? Because we're nerds.
If you haven't seen it, we're definitely going to spoil it and talk about it. Let's review it first, and then we'll talk about the aftermath.
Okay.
How does one review this movie? I mean, on a scale of like, did you like it or not like it? I liked it. Did I love it? No. Did I hate it? Absolutely not. Did I dislike it? No. I think I liked it just fine. Now, as a big DC fan, of course, I wanted to fucking love it and be like, it's the greatest thing that ever fucking happened. And, you know, the expectations were perhaps a little high or a little too high or something like that. But I liked it. It's a comic book movie, right up my alley. It's got a lot of things in it that I dug, some shit that puzzled me, but whatever. Like, it's tough to argue logic in a world where it's like, yeah, that guy came from Krypton. You know, it's like you got to throw logic out the window. But even in a world of throwing logic out the window, there's still, you know, a certain expectation of how stories are told and shit. And I realized I gave up the right to have any expectation on how a story is told when I made Tusk. That being said, you know, there's certain things where you're watching a movie and you're like, well, that clearly, well, we know a lot about the movie. The movie, to cover a little backstory, Zack Snyder, the third in the Zack Snyder trilogy, which wasn't really intended to be a trilogy, but just kind of wound up being one, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and now Justice League. At one point, Justice League was going to be 2 movies, and I think you can feel it all throughout this movie, even with the fixes, that this was meant to be part 1, setting up a much bigger part 2, and then plans changed dramatically. So they had to. It seemed like it was a movie where they kept having to play the ball where it laid. You know what I'm saying? Like Batman v Superman came out. Critics shit on it. Audiences supported it financially, but nobody seemed all that enthused about it and stuff. And the week after, they went out to England or Europe to start working on Justice League, which meant, you know, there was really very little course correction. You know, they didn't respond right away to all that criticism. That came later on. According to reports, Zack got to make the movie he wanted to make, and then in March of last year, they screened it and decided this is not what we want to take to marketplace. And as far back as then is when they started talking to Joss Whedon about coming in and writing stuff. That turned into directing stuff as Zack had to step away from the project for personal reasons. So going in, you know this is a hybrid film. It's not one director's vision. That being said, we've seen it work on something like Rogue One. It was not made by one person. It's got clearly the work of 2 directors, and now we know the backstory that it was the work of 2 directors, but it's seamless, it blends, and it fucking works, and shit, they know how to end a movie at the very least, man. They fucking snap on a lightsaber in the dark and give you a minute of the best Darth Vader you've ever seen in your fucking life before tying right into the end of Star Wars. So those 2 filmmaker mashup, that filmmaker mashup affair worked incredibly well. This one, you can definitely see, hey, that was Zack's and that was Joss's. I couldn't say I can pick every scene which was whose, but I think there was one that I was surprised it wasn't. Oh, I read that the Barry Allen in jail when he does the marker face on the guy in line. I was like, well, that's clearly Joss Whedon. No, it was Zack Snyder. So I don't think I could sit there and tell you which one was definitely which, but there's huge sections where it's easy to tell. Of course, we now know because of Henry Cavill having to wear a mustache in Paramount's Mission Impossible movie, and Paramount pulling the ultimate shit card on Warner Brothers, who were like, we need him to reshoot for a week. They're like, have fun with the mustache. Because he was contractually obligated not to touch the mustache, even though it would have been fucking $19 to slap a fake mustache on him. Paramount still dug in and shit like that. And
that was the pettiest of petty fucking
Oh, my
moves.
God. Paramount petty. But they, you know, you got to respect it. It's kind of funny. So, and some Paramount exec, I don't know who's in charge anymore, but they're like, ha, 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 we told him he couldn't shave. You know? And instead of like working around that, going, all right, just give him a bunch of fucking facial hair, because we've done that in the comics, and we saw with him with a beard before in Man of Steel, they decided that they were going to digitally remove the mustache. This was not private information, it was public information, so that meant anyone who gave a fuck, you know, who paid attention to that sort of thing, spent most of the movie looking at Superman going, that's fake. That ain't real. That's the uncanny valley. Because they had to, sounds simple, shave off the mustache, but that's taking off a layer of image. They have to replace that image, and they gave him a rubbery upper lip and stuff like that. So, you know, there's that. Like, there are all these elements at play that you knew walking in the door. There was no way it was going to be Avengers good. Shit. There was probably no way it was going to be Thor: The Dark World good. You know what I'm saying? That being said, what I saw, I enjoyed more than Thor: The Dark World. Put that on a poster.
Better than the shittiest Thor movie.
I don't want to you know, it's not a Marvel versus DC thing, but Marvel will always come into the discussion because they made the Avengers first. They beat, you know, DC Warner Brothers had a chance to be the first superhero team, you know, movie with George Miller's Justice League back in the day, and the strike happened and the whole thing fucking blew apart. That allowed Marvel to go first with the Avengers, defined what a superhero team movie should look like and be. And then they got to do it again, and then they got to do it on movies that weren't even Avengers movies, where they're like, the Captain America is now a team movie as well. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy shows you how to do fucking teams. And that was like, what a Hail Mary that was. They took hey, almost Guardians of the Galaxy almost seems like Kevin Feige got drunk in Saigon and was like, dare me to make a fucking movie, you know? And they were like, I don't know, what's the worst Marvel property? Guardians of the Galaxy? He's like, sold, motherfuckers! And he went and fucking did it with James Gunn. And they took a movie that shouldn't fucking work from a comic book property that like was never that popular and turned it into something beautiful and fucking wonderful. So we know it can be done, and unfortunately, Marvel will always enter the discussion when you're talking about a team movie. That all being said, I liked it, and I'll go through the things that I liked. And I will be fair and go through the things that I didn't like so much. These are the things I like. Now, mind you, I'm a DC Comics fan. I'm in the bag for this shit already. I want all this shit to be good. And so, you know, you don't have a high bar with me. You just have to say certain things. For example, when Steppenwolf, the villain that everybody fucking hates, said the word new gods, like I was with Marc, I went like this. I clutched him, you know, because I was like, oh my God, they in a mainstream movie, something I never imagined I'd hear, a reference to Jack Kirby's Fourth World, the New Gods characters. I mean, we're looking at Steppenwolf, but, you know, he didn't have to say new gods, and he did. I was like, and then he also said dark side, and I fucking cummed my pants, because I was like, oh my God, that's the first reference. Sadly, the last reference. And, you know, we never got to see him. My theory, just for put a pin in this, is these movies, when they were supposed to be two, Steppenwolf was movie one, Dark Side was movie two. Somewhere along the lines, they decided, remember all of a sudden, if you go back and read their announcement, Justice League 1, Justice League 2, then all of a sudden one day they're like, no, there's not two. It's always meant to be one. We're like, bullshit, you said two. So they were intending two, and then I think is what it smells like, and Dark Side must have been the second half. So they were like, scrap it. And they just have Steppenwolf. And, like, Steppenwolf is not a main villain. Like, of all the, grab Starro, the Conqueror. You know why? Giant fucking starfish over somebody's face, visually interesting. And fucking a weird concept. Like, what? They're fighting a giant starfish? Like, yeah, he controls all of humanity. So if they strike at them or strike at him, he could strike back at humanity, kill fucking people under his Starro power and shit. They're like, yeah, but he's a starfish. You're like, he's a starfish from space, motherfucker. Like, you can make that shit work, man. Steppenwolf was a weird choice. That being said, I enjoyed Steppenwolf because I love Ciarán Hinds, and I could listen to him fucking, he could read my death warrant, and I'd be like, beautiful. So well done. I know the villain looked very generic and stuff, but that didn't bug me so much. I loved his voice. I was fucking disappointed they didn't have that line from the trailer where he's like, no protectors here, no Kryptonians, no lanterns. Like, that line's not there. There's a lot of shit that was in the trailers. Remember Alfred, like, at the end of one of the trailers, looks up, he's like working on a car engine, and he's like, thank God you're here. Let's hope you're not too late. Like, what happened to that? That don't fucking exist at all anywhere in the movie. Anyway, back to the things I liked.
Yes. Christmas list.
Yes. Batman, going from the top. Batman fights a parademon in the opening scene of the movie. Mm-hmm. That's fucking cool. Never thought I'd see that in a movie. I thought that was cool. I thought it was fucking stupid that he talked to Alfred right in front of the burglar. Like, he busted a guy and used that dude as bait. And then he was going, Alfred, did you hear that? And the burglar's right there. If I'm the burglar, I'm like, who's fucking Alfred? Oh my God, you must be Bruce Wayne, you know? Like,
and also, he never arrests the burglar.
No, he left the burglar go.
Like, this is a movie where people just leave shit places they shouldn't leave places.
Yes.
Hey, didn't we have a mother box? It's fine.
It's true. I remember the second time I watched the movie, I was like, he just left that bad guy up there. And then I was like, maybe he was like, well, I used him as bait to catch the parademon, so that'll teach him.
Yeah, go get your bag worth of shit you stole from that house, and
that's the thing.
On your way.
He let him take his shit. Yeah, that wasn't a very Batman thing. But watching Batman fight a parademon was a cool thing I never thought I'd see on the big screen in my lifetime, so I was happy to see that. A Wonder Woman saves the kids scene, wonderful. I don't like it when she busts in. It's not just kids. I saw a lot of kids, but there was adults there as well. But, it's the scene you see in the trailer where the dude's like, I'm going to kill 4 blocks for no good reason. Fuck humanity. Everybody's so harsh in this movie. Like, he tries to blow up 4 blocks, this random fucking dude. And the whole time I was like, just call him something. Put a mask on him. He was a DC character. Why couldn't that have been somebody? Well, whatever. That's a small bitch. But it was just like Wonder Woman comes in, as beautiful, fucking, like, they show the seconds moving down. Her fast motion was more convincing than the Flashes, I thought. When they showed her in speed time, I was like, that looks fucking badass. She gets rid of the bomb, that explodes and shit. Then the villain is like, all right, fuck it. And he just decides to mow fuckers down with a machine gun. For no good reason. He's just like, well, I couldn't blow up 4 blocks, so I'll at least kill these fucking people who are in a courthouse or something like that. And there are children, schoolgirls, who are like fucking screaming like, no! And there's an adult who goes, Jesus, no! And I'm like, this is a Super Friends movie? Like, oh my God, it's scary. And then she comes in and fucking, that was badass. Watching her fucking stop machine guns with her gauntlets, the way that was done, I thought was cool. I read online that sequence went on longer and they cut it down. God knows why. So I liked that scene a bunch. That was fantastic. And it played like a little Wonder Woman, like sequel, kind of like we just watched a Wonder Woman movie, so all of a sudden you're like, she's back in action. I like that aspect of it. All the Aquaman scenes I loved. I thought Aquaman was great. I thought the way Momoa played him was great. I thought every time he was on screen, I lit up. I was like, this is great. What a cool idea. So Aquaman, I'm fully on board with that movie. The Great War, like when they show that flashback scene where everybody's fighting, looks like they stole it from Lord of the Rings and shit like that. There's one moment where they were like, all the army, the Amazonians, the Atlanteans, the armies of man all fought together and they're fighting Steppenwolf. And then there were like even aliens from other worlds and they showed lanterns. And then they showed fucking one, like I think it was Steppenwolf, kill a fucking lantern. Dude goes down and his hand goes down and then the ring took off from his fucking hand and shot past Steppenwolf's face. I swear to you, like even talking about my eyes, like my heart races, bless you, and my eyes get a little glassy. That was beautiful. Like if you could have just done that for 2 hours. Just like, it was so, like, that was perfect. It was, like, everything about that was beautiful. It didn't go deep. It wasn't like, my kid, when that happened, I took my kid to see it. When that happened, I had to explain it. I was like, you don't understand. That's when the lantern falls. The ring finds a worthy successor. Who is that ring going to? And shit. And my kid at the end of the movie goes, well, I thought Green Lantern was going to show up. And I was like, why? And she was like, because the ring took off. And I was like, that would have been good. I was like, I want to see your Justice League movie. But anyway, I like that. I like the ring taking off. That made I'm telling you, shit like that was worth it for me. I paid $10 for that. That made me feel like a kid. Some people go, that's not enough for me. Fuck you, that was enough for me. Barry Allen. I'm not going to say The Flash because the Flash stuff wasn't that, like, it didn't blow me away. But all the Barry Allen stuff, Ezra Miller was the comic relief and played it absolutely wonderfully. It was a joy to watch. Sadly, I saw every scene almost he did in the trailers, like that they put out in San Diego. Like his whole scene with Bruce Wayne, with the exception of some jokes about brunch, had been on display and stuff. So, it would have been nice to discover him, but I get why they put it all in the trailer. Like that's what makes people want to go. I liked Cyborg's performance, Ray Fisher. Mm-hmm. I liked his choice of voice. Like I thought it was a cool idea to play him down here low. I liked his character arc. I heard they cut a bunch of fucking shit out. So there's a lot more missing, but he was the character I was least interested in going in, and I thought they did him justice, and I thought he did him real justice to the point where I was like, oh, I care about Cyborg more than I did going into this. Some people bitched about him saying booyah, but that comes from Teen Titans Go, if I remember correctly, doesn't it? So when he said booyah, I was like, and my kid sitting next to me was like, nobody said booyah in all my life, So
I was one step shy of like the
woo, a little bit. The thrilling sequence for me, the highlight of the whole movie, oddly enough, didn't include or any of the fucking heroes that we were there to see. The mother box chase on Themyscira, mm-hmm. I thought like where they were like, keep it moving, and they like closed the tunnels, and they fucking hammered out the pins, and the walls kept them coming down behind Hippolyta, and then she fucking takes off and throws the mother box, and she's like, keep it fucking moving, and it's no heroes, nobody just random Amazonians keeping the fucking mother box on the move away from Steppenwolf. The sequence was fucking thrilling. It was heroic. Ultimately, spoilers, they fucking lose and he gets the mother box and shit like that. But it was breathtaking, and it didn't involve any of your major players. But I love that sequence. I thought it was great, and it wasn't just because I liked Wonder Woman a lot. I thought as a standalone sequence in the movie, it was fantastic. Mira fighting Steppenwolf with her aquakinesis, that was fucking cool to me because I love the comics as growing up and whatnot, and just seeing her fucking wham and create fucking just bend water and shit like that brought out the kid in me. When she created a water bubble for them to talk in, I was like, so that's how they're gonna do this shit. I was like, well, they got time to figure that out.
We're setting a whole movie underwater and they have to talk in the air. All right, that's fine.
Totally. But I liked her in the movie, and I liked her fight with Steppenwolf. Batman's save one person speech, love that. We've all seen it in the trailers. I felt like, there you go, that's fucking Batman right there. Aquaman sitting on the fucking lasso of truth, Wonder Woman's lasso of truth. I know that's a Joss Whedon scene. It fucking smells like one. It was a wonderful scene. What a great idea. I was like, that was so fucking cool. I loved when he was just like, he goes, I'll be honest, I don't want to die. I'm young. I got shit to do. Like, I thought that was so fucking well delivered. Superman joins the final battle. Some people thought that was cheesy, where he's like, I believe in truth. And then they cut to him going, I also believe in justice. But, all he would have had to say is, and I still believe in the American way. And I would have cummed unassisted. So the fact that they got two in, I know we're not supposed to say American way anymore with Superman. It's now just the universal way and shit. But like him saying truth and justice was pretty badass. I like that. And then him joining the fight. And it was like his costume and color for the first time. Like it's opposed to muted. It was bright blue and bright red. I like that. Steppenwolf's helmet left behind at the end of the battle. Mm-hmm. That to me said that's the first trophy in the Justice League trophy room. So that made me very excited. Sorry, I got dry. And then the Batman saying he's going to use the old Wayne Manor for the Justice League headquarters. That made me happy. And then the Luthor scene at the tag at the end. If I'm sure everybody stayed for the credits. What's his name? Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, the Terminator, gets on a yacht that belongs to a now bald Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg did show back up, and they had this quick scene where the gist of it is, hey, they're creating a Justice League. We should get a league of their own, which I guess is the Injustice League, but I would prefer if he was like, we're gonna fucking make them eat their doom, and you were like, Legion of Doom, bitch, because that name sounds way better than Injustice League. But let's be honest, after this weekend, I don't know if we're getting that movie.
I thought they were gonna form a women's baseball team.
I think that was the gist. That's all the shit I liked about it. That's more than enough to make me happy and stuff. Here's the stuff I didn't like. I said Batman talking to Alfred on the roof during the opening. That really ticked me off, where I was like, why would he fucking literally say Alfred out loud in front of anybody, even let alone that guy? Like, how many fucking Alfreds are there? This is the age of the internet. Like, that burglar's like, hey, man, Batman was on a roof, and he said Alfred. Let me Google Alfred and see what happens. And, maybe 2 days, if you're fucking real bad at it, sooner or later he'll be like, Alfred's the butler of Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, he's the kind of guy that could pay for all this bad shit. I mean, he built the Nightcrawler, so he must have money. Let's kill Bruce Wayne. Like, that to me that's just easy fix. Why would he do that?
Well, because everybody in this movie was telling everybody what their real names were.
They did a lot of that.
Clark.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
At one point,
there's
Wonder
a bunch
Woman,
of cops here.
She called him Kal-El too. She was like, Kal-El of Krypton. I was like, how do you know his fucking name? I hate to say this, but all the Martha Kent or Lois Lane scenes were a real drag to me. I especially opening with, she's losing her farm? Christ almighty. Like, call Bruce Wayne right now. He literally fucking saved you, and he knows your name. You could call him up and be like, I'm the other Martha, the living one. And he'd cut you a check, but they saved that for the end. He's like, thanks for paying for my mom's farm now that I'm alive again, asshole. Could have used it when I was in the fucking ground. The Nightcrawler. This vehicle made no fucking sense to me whatsoever.
No.
This felt like somebody trying to sell a toy if I ever fucking seen it in a movie. Makes no sense, no use. At one point they have this sequence where Batman's fighting and he's got 2 parademons coming at him. He knocks one down, knocks another down. He's on his back. He goes, Alfred, I need the Nightcrawler. And I'm like, why? Why do you need the Nightcrawler? And he jumps in it and starts shooting shit.
It was going to take you 45 minutes to get there.
It was so slow. Everything about that vehicle made no fucking sense. And what does a spider have to do with a bat? Like, if I'm Spider-Man, I'm fucking suing him. Because that looked more like a spider than a bat-inspired vehicle to me. How they brought back Superman seemed real dopey to me. Where they're like, let's sink the mother box in the water. Like, why couldn't he just have come back? Didn't we see, correct me if I'm wrong, at the end of fucking Batman v Superman, didn't dirt raise from his grave? So wasn't that him rising from the grave? Like, I don't understand. Like, wasn't that, like, I thought they'd just find him, like, fucking, they'd find an empty grave, and he fucking got out himself, and he's wearing a black suit, nothing. They were like, they had a scene, dude. Bro, you saw the movie. I don't have to tell you.
I was right there.
You were right there. They literally had a scene where Flash and Cyborg are digging up a casket. I never imagined I'd see that in my life. Like, if somebody was like, hey, man, one day they're going to make a Justice League movie, I'd be like, bullshit. And they're like, seriously, one of the scenes is going to be fucking Barry Allen and Cyborg digging up a coffin and doing it slow. Like, even though he's the fastest man alive and he's fucking a robot and shit like that, they're literally, like, Cyborg can turn into shit. He can literally create a claw in just one fucking swoop.
And also grave robbing for laughs.
Crazy. They're sitting there digging up fucking his casket, and they bring his casket to the Kryptonian ship, which now figures in all 3 of those movies. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and this one. They dip him back in the water and shit like that. They take him out the box, and he's in his burial suit, and stick him under the water, and Aquaman pushes him under and shit. Then they drop a mother box in there, and Flash has to run it real fucking fast. And, it seems like a video game. Or not a video game, it didn't look like it, but the idea of, like, you got to touch this shit before it hits the water or else you got to go again. That's the boss stage. So they did that shit, and then fucking Superman come back to life, and he was like, ah! He was fucking, not there. They make a Pet Cemetery joke, which is crazy. And but the audience seemed to get it. Like, I was shocked by that. The audience, apparently everyone knows that movie. So there was one moment I really liked that I forgot. I thought it was beautiful. They kept showing Flash and Flash time. Everybody fucking frozen, him just moving around. They didn't do much with the Flash that was very interesting in terms of fast-moving, running technology. And sometimes when he ran, he looked like Ezra Miller didn't even know how to run in real life. Like in the end scene where he's like, I'm gonna race you, Superman. They're like, go. And they fucking cut to him. He's going like he's skiing. It's so fucked up. So, but whenever they freeze shit, like he helps Diana at one point, like reach a sword. He pushes a sword up to her and stuff. Everyone's frozen and nobody's looking at him and shit like that. And he's moving around. They have this one sequence where, you know, everybody's holding on to Superman, Cyborg, Batman, I think, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. They're all trying to fucking hold him down. And then Flash takes off and he's fucking running past and he's in his Flash time, moving at the speed of fucking light. And everyone's like a statue. And then all of a sudden they cut to fucking Superman and his eyes shift. Like he could fucking see him. And they cut to Flash and he's like, what the fuck? And then they cut to Superman and he literally like turns in the middle of speed time. So like the idea is like, you think you're fucking fast. I see you, bitch. Like, oh, that was fucking awesome. I love that to death. More of that would have been great. And that was the last thing I didn't like. I said Flash's running looked real weird. Oh, the Russian family. What the fuck was that all about? I didn't pay to see no Russian family, some random Russians, unless they turn into KG Beast or something like that, if they tie into the DC universe. But it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I waited my whole life for a Justice League movie. You're going to waste 5 minutes on some randoms like that? Like, why couldn't those fucking bugs get in the house? How come the fucking parademons couldn't get in the house? Would that can of bug spray worked? Why the fuck do I care? Like, why am I even watching this? What about the rest of Russia and shit like that? Are these the only people we give a fuck about? Didn't Putin have something to say about all this? I didn't understand why we visited the Russian family. All the people online said that was a Joss Whedon thing. Maybe he can explain it. I don't understand. And then Batman's costume in the third act. Batman's costume in the third act, he looked like the Michelin Man. He came out at one point, he had his helmet off, the cowl off, and he's like this. Like they don't show him fighting because he can't. Then they put him in the car and he drives like. But he literally can't close his arms. He looks like the Michelin Man. He looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. How many layers are you gonna put on a guy before you're like, all right, that's ridiculous. Let's take some shit off.
When we left
so fucking armored up. Then he had sunglasses.
We were talking about how in the old days when boxers used to gain too much weight, their belts would slowly expand to cover their entire fucking midsection. That's what that suit looks like. Like just fat dude who can't quite lose the weight. So you know what? I'm gonna put like 8 abs on this.
You thought he looked heavy? I thought he looked thin in the movie.
There's times when it looks thin, but he wasn't pumping no iron in this one. He wasn't lifting tractor tires. He wasn't cross-fitting.
Remember that in Batman v Superman? There's a whole scene where he's like fucking shirtless and wet. And he's like, look at me! Yeah, that's pretty fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have that scene at all.
Nope.
He kept his shirt on the whole movie, like me in the shower. Okay, so that was the shit I liked. That was the shit I wasn't too fond of. But overall, like, I liked it. Was I thrilled by it? There were moments where I was absolutely fucking thrilled by it. Overall, though, I thought it was a good watch. I'd watch it again. I saw it twice. I'll buy it and watch it a couple fucking 100 more times until I love it. What'd you think?
Okay, there's some stuff I liked. I know, you don't think I was going to say that, right?
No.
I thought the Dark Superman stuff, when he rises from the grave and beats the shit out of the Justice League, was my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, that would have been cool if that was the whole movie.
Because
if he'd been the bad guy.
If he's the save one person the Justice League needs to save is you have to save fucking Clark Kent, the movie isn't about anything. The movie and stopping Steppenwolf is not what a movie's about. That's what happens.
Right.
It's not, there's no, I felt like it was going to be about grief. I felt like it was going to be about blame. I felt like it was going to be about guilt. Like Bruce Wayne feels guilty after having ultimately led to Superman's death. And so everything he does in this movie is a response to that guilt,
right,
up to and including almost killing himself in Nowherenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkestan, wherever the fuck that was.
Yeah, in Russia. He does kind of throw himself into harm's way. And it is kind of implied that he feels you know, like he doesn't give a fuck about himself. He has this wonderful speech. I don't know if it's wonderful, but I'd never heard it before, and I never read it in a comic. So I was like, that is kind of interesting, where he talked about Superman was more human than him. Whereas, like, which is ridiculous. It's like, look, you're the ultimate human. All Superman has to do is fucking rip you in half, and we'll see that for sure. But, you know, he goes, think about it. Like, he found a life. He lived here. He found love. Like, he did a bunch of shit that Bruce Wayne hasn't done. I thought that was kind of an interesting notion. Like, that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, but, like, coming out of the grave wrong and having to reckon with Superman on the fucking rampage, like, that's fascinating. And that trickles through the entire DC universe. Like, if you're going to set up a Suicide Squad 2, then what better engine for that than, oh, did you see the second act of that movie where Superman fucked off and blew lots of shit up? We need a Suicide Squad to deal with evil Superman. That was the promise of the first movie.
Right.
And it just, like, that gives it all a personal heft. It gives it, our friend went bad because of us, and we have to fix this.
All right, well, don't fucking write a better movie. Talk about the one you saw. We could all write a better movie, Marc. Like, you know, the Starro one was pretty fucking good. But
was.
Talk about what they did do.
I mean, most of my problem with this movie is that they put all of the right pieces in place and didn't quite know what to do with them.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going to end this movie in, again, Durkistan, and Aquaman is integral to this fight. You are nowhere near the fucking water. Why not set that on the coast?
Yeah.
Like, just fucking let him fucking hurl sperm sharks at people. I would watch that. Or whales. Sperm, everything.
That's true. I hadn't even thought about that. He's nowhere near water for that last fight and shit like that.
So, like, I don't know what his powers are, really, because he's never in the fucking water except when he just swims and saves rando fisherman guys.
Aquaman, use your power. He's like, I'm too far from fucking water. He's like, all I can do is this.
I mean, even if they're like Frozone that shit, like when it's like, listen, just all I need is a drink of water, just one.
Yeah.
It's fine, but no.
Apparently he don't need. Well, he's half man, half Atlantean, so he don't need the like. I gotta get wet.
Yeah.
I'm glad they don't do that. Where he's got like a ticking clock, where he's like, you gotta get me to water. I gotta get wet. We're losing him. Like he's not Frosty the fucking Snowman. Like you know.
I love the idea that the water's all laced with PCP. I gotta get wet.
I like the idea, though, that he could, you know, the idea of Aquaman is he can withstand the pressures of, you know, the depths. So up on surface world, nothing can fucking touch him. And so maybe gravity works like different for him. That's why he gets those big jumps and shit, like jumping off the Batmobile. I liked when they show him swimming underwater. Like they showed him, it's almost like he was flying. They don't try to show him swimming his arms. He just literally flies underwater. I think that's a good idea.
I liked Cyborg. Like I like that story. I like the man trapped in the machine story.
Yeah, I thought they handled it well. I thought they could have. Apparently, there was a lot more though.
I kept expecting for him to be the last mother box. I kept expecting that his father had used the change engine to fix him, but rather than there still being a box, that the box is now Cyborg. And so part of this entire last push of this movie is to save Cyborg from Steppenwolf.
Stop writing a better movie. God damn it. But yes, you're right. I remember watching it at one point going, oh, fuck, he's the third mother box, and they're going to fucking tear it out of him and shit when Steppenwolf's going to be like, he said to him at one point, he's like, you were born of her. Like, it'd be so much cooler if he was like, she's in you, and he fucking tore it out, and he was dying, and they had to fucking save Cyborg. Like, I like your movie, but let's talk about the movie they made.
Yeah, there was just too much stuff that didn't connect with anything else. Like you said, the Wonder Woman scene is great. Has nothing to do with the rest of the movie at all.
I would have taken that like over and over again, though, honestly. Like if they were just like, here's a series of scenes where the Justice League is just good to people. Like, I would be like, that's great. Like if they just honestly showed me 19 scenes in a row of the heroes, and they could just like, each one gets to save 3 people. Of varying lengths, little like almost like Justice League Action, those little cartoons they make. Like I would have been totally cool with that. You don't have to fucking sew together a plot. I just want to see him saving people and doing heroic things. So moments like that like thrill me.
Yeah, but I kind of want a plot though. I kind of want a movie to do with things a movie does.
Especially with Zack Snyder. It's like he makes beautiful looking frames and shit. Just let him tell these little mini vignettes and stop trying to cram a fucking plot onto the shit.
Listen,
that's the problem is everybody wants a plot. Like,
he can't ride the bike, so he needs the training wheels. No. He's really good with the training wheels, but when he does the two-wheel plot thing, he's not so hot.
He's good. It's just, here's the thing. And I know you're not done. We got to let you talk about it. But I feel like his movie was done a disservice. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good or bad, we should have lived with his version. You know what I'm saying? I read a piece today online that I was like, that's an interesting theory, where they talked about, like, at least Batman v Superman, if you didn't like it, it did make money. Mm-hmm. They said this weird hybrid version, which people could smell a mile away, was trying to be more like a Marvel movie with the reshoots. They said maybe the audience that was looking for Snyder's like dark, esoteric take on it was like, I'm staying away. That's not for me. The other theory, of course, was that a lot of people went to see Batman v Superman, was like, fool me once, and then didn't go back to this.
Yeah.
I don't know which theory is correct.
I have a kind of firm belief that that most of the world has no idea who makes a movie.
Right here. Get it in your mouth.
Nobody knows. Like if you go to your average mall anywhere, if you go to your average library, school, whatever, anywhere that's not New York and LA and maybe Chicago, and ask them who directed any fucking movie, who directed E.T., they could not tell you who that was.
You're fucking high. Everybody knows Steven Spielberg. My mother knows that shit. Like, and she's not well versed. She's not like, oh, I can tell you who directed the Cannonball Run. Like,
I mean, Hal Needham, yeah. But I honestly don't think that enough people know that Zack Snyder directed it and care that he directed it that didn't show up because it wasn't a full Zack Snyder vision to knock it $70 million off of the gross.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that.
You know, like I think that...
I could, but I won't.
I mean, I think that yes, there was a compromised vision in this movie. Mm. Part of the problem is, with all these movies, is there is no vision at work. Is that Zack Snyder
still seems like they need a Kevin Feige.
They need somebody to stand over everything and look at it and say, here's what works for us, here's what doesn't. Here's what fuels this particular machine, and here's what doesn't. Here's the shit that diehard fans will love, but won't help us in any way. Here's the way we need to change this origin to have it make sense to the person who doesn't know that Zack Snyder directed it. And here's what we need to keep that's integral to these characters.
I think we, the audience, hurt this movie, to be honest with you, because after Batman v Superman, there was a lot of, they should have done this, and they should have done this, a lot of armchair quarterbacking, Monday morning quarterbacking by we, the audience. I think they started listening, because it seems like any fucking issue you had about BVS, they addressed in this movie. Like, a lot of people were like, 2.5 hours, go fuck yourself. This one was only 2 hours. It's all so dark, go fuck yourself. This one had lots of jokes in it. It seemed like they listened. Like, Batman hates Superman. What the fuck is that? Now Batman's kind of in love with Superman. Like, where he's like, I don't not like you,
I mean, it feels like they listened and fixed the somewhat superficial things that you could do, but not the endemic issues that it has, which is, I don't understand why these characters do the things that they do. I don't understand why these people are heroes. I don't understand what makes Superman Superman, so that when you see him on screen, you're not entirely sure why. I mean, this is the closest that I've gotten to seeing the Superman I remember. Like once he comes out of his Pet Sematary trance, he's glorious and he's hopeful and he believes and he
unless
wants
you
to
look
save
at his
people.
lip real close.
Yeah, then he's a monster from another planet. But
he's an alien.
I think that they're rushing to keep up. They're in a reactionary place, and of course it's always unfair to compare Marvel to DC because they're two very different universes with two very different sort of plans of attack, but they're playing in the same field, so you kind of have to compare them in a way. Yeah. And DC is reacting to what Marvel did, as opposed to doing what they could do best. And until they figure out what that is, until they figure out how to synthesize the things that make DC special, then I think they're always going to be playing catch up.
I think that last scene with the Terminator and Lex Luthor if they get to keep going, is a good direction to go in. Just embrace it. Lean into the characters. Like, just make more. Do something that people haven't done before. Like, you know, I'd say Warner Brothers DC started this shit years ago with fucking Superman. Hey, here's what a superhero movie looks like, kids. And then redefined it themselves 10 years later when they did Batman with Tim Burton. Hey, this is what a superhero movie looks like, kids. And there was dominance for years. And then I guess the first ones to kind of like go, hey, here's what a superhero movie could look like, was Fox with the X-Men. You know, like, hey, this is different. And so that changed the game a little bit, and they came along strong at a time when DC movies were kind of on their weaker end. Then, you know, Spider-Man defines what a fucking comic book movie could be and should be, you know, and fucking the bar has moved. And then Chris Nolan comes to Batman and redefines what a comic book movie could and should. And suddenly DC has the ball again. It's like, holy fuck. And then at the, you know, right in the middle of it, while we were all loving on the Joker so hard, Heath Ledger's Joker, something quiet began, a little revolution. Iron Man happened that same summer. And suddenly, what we would come to think as a comic book movie, was redefined forever. And the market dominance that Marvel holds has everything to do with that. Starts with Iron Man, they continue telling great stories, and they continue telling different fucking stories. Now, Fox has given them a bit of run for their money lately by finding a new area to tell comic book stories and going, this is what a superhero movie looks like now, a la Deadpool, a la Logan. Warner Brothers needs to fucking find their place again. They need to be like, this is what a fucking comic book movie looks like now. And with all due respect, they've tried 3 times with a vision that like a lot of people don't seem to go for. They like their heroes a little more hopeful, a little more happy or whatever the fuck. But I respect what he's done over those 3 movies, and I think we get some time away. When you're able to watch all those 3 in one sitting, you're going to see a vision, particularly if they put out his. I think they owe it to Zack Snyder to put out his uncut version. Like, look, I'll fucking pay 3 times. Like, charge me for the one I saw. I'll buy that on fucking video. Charge me for like the fucking the all Zack Snyder version. I'll buy that shit again. And then charge me for like, hey, motherfucker, this is the 8th version of the Terminator. You're buying it again. Like, I'll buy it. It's got a special box. Like, I'll buy it. It comes in a mother box. I'll buy it. I hope they take my marketing ideas. So
here's my theory. I feel like I'm going to draw an analogy here.
Okay.
DC.
It's so fucking funny how serious we talk about this.
Well,
as if it's like North Korea or something like that. But,
well, no, you
but
just
it
wait.
is a big deal.
You wait for this analogy.
Okay.
DC is the dude with a giant dick who has no idea how to use it.
I can't relate to this at all.
Marvel is the guy with a, you know, so-so dick, but has done the fucking work.
That I get.
Marvel came to movies, especially with the cinematic universe, with none of their big guns.
That's true.
They had no Spider-Man, they had no X-Men, they had no Daredevil. All they had was a bunch of dudes that nobody gave a fuck about. They had
Including
a roster.
Iron Man. Like, we love Iron Man now, but fucking, I remember when they announced that movie, even I was like, wow,
They had a
deep cut.
roster of like B-string heroes. And they had to work to make us care. And they put in the work. They absolutely built this fucking story of like soap opera intrigue and who's gonna do this and what's happening with this and holy shit, is that oh my god, this happened, that happened, that happened.
They built that city with rock and roll is
They
what you're
did.
getting at.
DC was like, look at this fucking dick. It's Batman, it's Wonder Woman, I have everybody I've ever wanted. It should be enough for me to just show you this dick. If I just put these characters on screen...
I don't think we're in the political climate for this analogy anymore.
Roll with me.
I don't know if I want to.
Come on. If I just put these characters on screen, that should be enough.
Yeah, I agree. That's not enough.
Like,
it was
you
like the
should-
marketing. When you looked at the billboard, and I think I said this before, I don't think this is Monday morning quarterbacking. I might have not said it here, I might have said it on another show. But you look at the billboard, it's literally like, there they are, look at them, fucking heroes. There are heroes, look at your heroes. That was it. There was no like, hey, what's the story about? They're like, what do you care? Heroes! But Thor Ragnarok's billboards like literally told you a story where you're like, holy fuck, I'm going to that. Like, there's something going on. That guy hates that guy. The Hulk's in it. There's a bunch of shit happening. It just felt like even they tried to tell a story with their marketing materials where this felt...
I mean, and so for me, so much of this movie was just, look at the people we put on the screen. look at how awesome this scene with Aquaman is. Look at how awesome this scene with Wonder Woman is. Look at how awesome this bit with a Nightcrawler is. Sure, all right, whatever.
Nobody said that.
Somebody must have, because they spent $40 million making that fucking Nightcrawler move. And they were like, no, this is great.
Oof.
So, like, I just think they need to do the work and realize that even though they don't have the limitations of not getting their heavy hitters the way Marvel has, and so they compensated for it and just gave you story that captivated you.
Yeah.
So you can get to the end of a movie where it's two dudes punching each other.
Yeah.
And that is far more resonant and moving and emotional than we just destroyed Ukraine. Maybe, or we saved it, but now the flowers are weird, and this family that's really the dog in a Independence Day movie that just doesn't get blown up by a wall of fire gets saved, so we give a shit.
They did grow flowers out of those weird apocalypse, and they never said apocalypse. Like while she was telling the story, she's like, he wants it to look like his home world, and I'm like, just say it, one more word. Did they have a test screening? And somebody was like, I don't get it. That's too religious. Like, why take that out? Why not just say the word? Why say dark side once? It was weird. It felt like those were sops, not to me personally, but people like me who are like, I just want to hear him say new gods. They're like, new gods. I'm like, I'm done.
But yeah, like it feels as if all too often in Marvel movies, they're listening to Bruce Wayne's advice. Save one person, and then maybe save another one. In Winter Soldier, you're saving Bucky. You know, in fucking Civil War, it's like we're saving Baron Zemo ultimately. You know, like it's personal and it's small. The world doesn't have to be on fire all the time, and it feels as if DC is all about like apocalypse as opposed to just make me care. And until they do that, then I feel like it's just going to be a lot of look. It's a thing that I loved when I was a kid, moving.
That's enough for me. Like that'll do it for me.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the box office, it's not enough for enough.
Well, let's talk about that. With mouthful. You talk about that. I'll eat.
You chew.
The box office for this. Let's talk about Batman v Superman was what?
Yes.
Opening weekend.
$166 million.
Jesus, that's a lot of money. Suicide Squad.
123 million.
Both movies critically derided.
Yes.
Didn't matter. Fucking people still showed up. Wonder Woman's opening weekend.
$106 million.
Okay. Opening weekend of Justice League was projected.
It was projected at 110. Then over the weekend it came in at 96, and then kept on revising downwards until today it's 93.
Can you imagine there's a world where 93 is not successful? Like, how do you win and lose at the same time?
I mean, and the problem is that, you know, this was supposed to be...
I'll never make a movie that makes $93 million. I don't think all my movies together made $93 million. Like, that's a number that I aspire to. And for some reason, Warner Brothers is like, we're sad today.
I mean, it's only really sad in comparison.
Comparison to what? Those other numbers?
In comparison to Avengers, which when that opened, and again, it was we get all our heroes together on the same screen, and we're going to show you them just hanging out, doing stuff.
What it opened to?
$200 million.
First one out the gate, they're like, look at all these heroes. Look at them together. Look at them, they're looking at you.
Yeah.
That'll do it. That's excitement. But if you're going to do that again, you got to figure out ways to recreate it. No, has anybody opened a $200 million since then?
Force Awakened.
Well, I mean, it's fucking Star Wars.
It's Star
Any
Wars.
superhero movies?
No.
I mean, you're going to have to do something fucking incredibly special to ring that bell again.
That's the benefit of being first out of the gate. And then Age of Ultron makes $191 million. The second time you see that.
93, we have to do a side story. And this is weird. I'm not being political, but government suing fucking Warner Brothers right now? Department of Justice just announced it?
I think over some AT&T merger.
There's going to be a merger between Warner Brothers and AT&T, and the Department of Justice is suing to stop the merger. It's an $85 billion merger, the idea being it would be too big, the company. Some people think it's fueled by Trump hates CNN and blah, blah, blah. So leaving politics aside, that's a very real situation right now that affects Warner Brothers in a big, bad way. If they were about to merge, oh my God, all the money is theirs. They've got all the money in the world, all that fat AT&T money and shit. But if the government shuts down the merger, they will have to look long and hard at what movies they're going to make in the future. Aquaman is done, and for all intents and purposes, the word is it's very good. You know they're going to make another Wonder Woman movie. They've already announced it, and why wouldn't they? That's a sure fucking thing. They've announced Shazam, and they've cast Shazam, so that's in the works. But everything else from there on in is like, who knows what happens? They may, after this weekend, just be like, you know what? We're going to fucking do standalone movies like we used to. We're not building universes. Fuck all this. I don't know what their reaction is going to be. Do you think people get fired?
I mean, people probably should.
Ooh, that's cold.
I mean,
I wasn't asking that. I was just asking, do you think it'll happen?
Just like this creative vision isn't working. The audiences are responding to it. The critics aren't responding to it. The finances don't make sense anymore. And the only way you fix that is by changing the people who are making those decisions. Now, will they? That's another fucking question, because Hollywood is loath to get rid of anybody for anything.
That's not true. They got rid of me a long time ago.
But yeah, I think there has to be a course correction. I think there has to be some kind of reset. And ironically, like Flashpoint gives you the opportunity for that reset. Or Crisis gives you the opportunity for that reset.
Well, they should lean into the Flashpoint. I mean, I know they've had a hard fucking time putting the Flash movie together, but now that you see that element can work, like, give Ezra Miller a Flashpoint movie. There you go. That's an exact way to correct your entire DC universe.
I mean, what DC has that Marvel doesn't have.
And a great story. A warm story, a story about a child's love for a parent gone wrong and shit like that. Like, there's real heart to that story. And it plays with time and throughout the DC universe. You can do a lot of fucking cool things with that.
I mean, and they have a multiverse. Marvel doesn't have a multiverse. There's a world in which if you do a Crisis story, then you can have Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, digital Adam West. You can have all of these fucking Batmans together.
Stop making better movies than these fucking people. Oh my God, you need to be in charge. What a good fucking idea.
You can pick
That's
and
how you
choose.
fuck everybody's mind. They're like, guess what? Fuck Marvel. We're connecting all the movies. Michael Keaton exists with fucking Ben Affleck, with George Clooney. Oh, that'd be fucking badass. And you convince them all to do it, and they all come back?
And the ones that don't, I mean, if we can do a half-ass fucking digital mustache removal on Cavill, if you spend the time and really fucking do it, then yeah, you get Adam West back.
That would be amazing. And then you could capture so many generations, because you could go all the way back to like the Christopher Reeve Superman universe.
Oh, absolutely.
So
you
that's
get
like
Dean
Earth
Cain back
X.
in there. You get...
Oh my God, Dean Cain as well. You could grab the TV universe. You can make a fuck off 2-hour movie where most of the world would be like, what's happening? It's like every movie I've ever seen. And it's kind of what it is, man. Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah. And then you come out of that and you pick the ones you want. You want to recast Ben? Fine. We didn't want that Batman anyway.
He wants to recast Ben.
He's looking for a graceful
Every article
exit.
you read, he's talking about a graceful exit. After 2 times playing the role.
God,
That's hard, man. That's hard. Like, Robert Downey Jr. been doing that shit 10 years as Iron Man. You don't hear him going, I got to get out of this shit. He's like, oh my God, it gets easier the older I get. Now I just sit in a room and in the helmet and that's it. Like, the rest is CGI.
Like, what are you going to pay me for Homecoming? Fuck yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know why he's trying to leave, but he is. Yeah. He doesn't seem to have had a good time in his run as Batman.
I mean, as you surmised once, that he as an actor wants to be liked. And part of the reason why he takes Batman is to be on the biggest stage in the world, to rehabilitate his superhero legacy, to be a hero, and to be liked by millions of people. And Sad Fleck once proved that this dude is not being liked by as many people as he wants. It is not universal praise the way it was for Christian Bale.
Did people universally praise Christian Bale?
I think by Dark Knight, yeah.
I'm trying to think how I feel about the Bale performance.
But it wasn't, oh God, what did you do to my Batman?
No, not at all. It was very in keeping with the character and stuff. I had little problems. Like, for example, Christian Bale has a thing right here by his eye. So did Batman. So anybody that knows fucking Bruce Wayne is like, hey, you got a thing like Bruce Wayne. Bam, there's your fucking tell right there. But I liked his performance. But, he did have the unfortunate voice to deal with. At least he made a choice, but the choice... Where's the trigger? Where's the trigger? You never gave it to an audience. Where's the trigger? That's kind of hard to watch. it's the addition of the voice to Ben. That sounded kind of cool.
Yeah,
made it sound. And hopefully, going forward, they do that so that no actor ever has to make the choice. No, I got this. Listen, where's the trigger? And Nolan's like, yeah, go ahead, you got it. If you had to give a letter grade to the movie, I would give it a B-. You?
I give it a C. I give it a C. I don't think it's a disaster.
I agree. I saw a lot of reviews that were like, it was a fucking train wreck. I didn't think it was a train wreck.
No, there's pleasures to be found. You know, there's momentary moments of life.
Way dirtier than it needed to be.
There are pleasures to be found here on Fantasy Island. They play, but it's uneven at best. You know, as Schnepp said, wet clay. You know,
John Schnepp said that on Twitter.
Yeah, that like there's pieces of it that work, but it's still wet. It's not molded yet. It's not solid yet. It won't support everything they needed to support.
Do you think they make another Justice League movie now that it's opened at 93 million? Do you think they're like, fuck it, we're pot committed. Let's do it again. Let's double down on this shit.
I think if they do, it's 10 years from now.
Really?
Yeah.
So what about that last scene we were fucking told there's going to be an Injustice gang? You don't think we're going to get it? You think they lied to us in the marketing?
I think we get that in Man of Steel 2.
Ooh.
I think
you know what? They owe him his own movie. Because he was on a fucking roll. He should have had Man of Steel 2, but then BVS and then Justice League. So they should give Superman his own movie, and they should do a Man of Steel 2. And they could do Injustice Gang, but I'd much rather them do Brainiac. That'd be fucking cool. But who knows if we even get another one? It might be a while before we see some of the big guns again. I'm even curious what happens. Well, I mean, Matt Reeves' Batman is supposed to be next, and they got to keep that fucker going. Even when Batman dies, they pull out the paddles and like clear, because like they fucking need him in a big bad way. So he'll be back sooner than you know it and stuff.
But yeah, I think we wait a while for Justice League. That's my guess.
All right, let's move on from Justice League. Talk about something else. What else is going on?
They're making a Harley Quinn TV show.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Animated show.
That's even better.
Warner Brothers Animation is doing it for the new DC All Access app or whatever they're calling it.
It's for the app?
Yeah, so it'll sit alongside Titans and...
They got my money. I'm ready to get it already.
Yeah.
That's fucking tremendous, man. There's a guy who does effects for Flash and Supergirl. Armin Kevorkian, and he's working on the Teen Titans show, and he sent me a text this week going, "You are gonna fucking love the Robin outfit."
Yeah,
it looks cool, he said. So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to that Teen Titans show, but now I'm looking way forward to this Harley Quinn thing. Yeah. That's a good idea. Fuck, that took a long time. Who's in charge of it? Please say Bruce Timm or Paul Dini.
Sam Register will be.
That doesn't sound like Bruce Timm or Paul Dini.
It does not. But he's been around the Warner Brothers Animation since the animated series, Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sam Register? Mm-hmm. And what has he worked on?
All of the things that have had capes and been cartoons for Warner Brothers.
That's cool.
But it's being overseen by the guys who did Powerless on NBC last season, the sort of DC Universe sitcom.
Yeah, the one that got canceled?
Yes.
So wait, the reward is here's a Harley Quinn show. Fuck, I want to fail like that.
Hollywood.
I guess so. Good for them, man. Apparently that show is fun. Sadly, it didn't. It got canceled way too quickly. They said.
And they are going after Margot Robbie to reprise her role.
Oh, in the cartoon?
Yeah.
Why not? Like, it'll take her like fucking 10 minutes to run in and fucking throw the voice down. She don't even have to put on any real clothes. She can go dressed like in her pajamas. That's the beauty of cartoons. You're just fucking sitting there recording the voice. You don't have to glam up or anything. I would do it if I was her. She's probably like, I don't need the money. Fuck you. We all need the money. I would do it. You should do it. If I was her agent, I was like, fucking do it. Why not? Own this shit.
I've done worse shit for the money.
Fuck yeah. But also, it's just like, lock it all up. Make yourself like as associated. This character's popular. Fucking insanely popular. So I'd say do the voice. I think that's a good idea.
Fox is making a multiple man movie.
What?
Yeah.
Jamie Madrox is getting his own movie?
Uh-huh.
Are you fucking shitting me?
I am not fucking shitting you.
Why? I mean, I'm all for it, but why? How did this fucking happen? Because somebody lose a bet? What's going on?
Because James Franco wants to play him.
Oh, really?
That's why it's happening.
That's actually a good fucking idea. Holy shit. Oh my God. That's one of those, like, you say a name and then you say another name and you're like, yeah. That's a cool idea. I would watch him play that part.
Simon Kinberg is producing, and Alan Heinberg, who wrote Wonder Woman, is writing it.
That'd be a cool idea for, he could turn himself into multiple versions of himself. It's like multiplicity, but in the superhero universe. That's cool. I'd see that in a heartbeat. It's a good idea. I like him. He's interesting as fuck. I can't wait to see The Disaster Artist. So I'm game to see this. James Franco.
That James Franco.
Can you imagine you have that much power where you're like, I think I want to play multiple man. And they're like, did you fucking hear that mumbler? Cast him right now.
Give me the standard rich and famous contract.
That's good. That's good for me. I like that idea. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Marvel Comics has a new boss.
The actual comic book company.
The actual comic book company. Axel Alonso had been the editor-in-chief for...
Axel was my editor-in-chief on Spider-Man Black Cat. Wonderful guy.
Yeah, very sweet guy.
Where'd he go?
Unclear.
He's just leaving Marvel.
He's leaving Marvel. He hasn't announced what his next thing is.
God, that's a double hit to Marvel. First they lose Bendis last week. Now they lose Axel as well. What's going on?
I think that they're undergoing their own little creative reset, at least on the comic book front.
Wow.
And CB Sobolski, who had been
I know CB.
Yeah, he'd been an SVP of talent relations, and he was
I
recently
played poker with him as well.
Recently in China, overseeing a lot of their Asian initiatives, is now coming back to run the comic stuff.
It's a big job for him.
It's a huge job for him. But he's a big guy, so he's got this.
It's nice that we talk about comic books. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter be like, why don't you talk about comic books, you fat piece of shit? And I'm like, we will. The other thing people get very mad. Took a lot of shit this week on Twitter going, just change the name to Fat Man on Marvel, you fucking traitor. Because we don't talk about Batman enough. And so I think we have to institute a weekly Batman category. I mean, the show is called Fat Man on Batman. So I think maybe every week, here's the Batman category. This week, clearly, it was Justice League, so we don't have to fucking go any further than that. But moving forward, we should. People are starting to get shitty about the fact that we don't talk about Batman enough. But honestly, I think that has a lot to do with the fact, when I started the show, it was post Nolan, and I was in love with his version of the character and in love with the character again. It reminded me of everything that I'd always loved about Batman and stuff, and so it was a great time to start talking about it. And these few versions that they've been doing, the last two, I like this version of Batman, but it's very off. He looks great, but he's kind of off character in a lot of ways and stuff. At least in the last one, with him being so killy. So it's been, I don't know. I've got to reconnect with my love of the character. That's my fault.
All right, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Fine, you want it? We'll do it.
We'll get there.
I don't give a shit.
Thanks, Mark. Is that all the news we got?
That is all the news we got.
All right, what else we got going on?
We have a special guest today.
Okay.
I went last week to go see the premiere of Marvel's Runaways.
How was it?
I really, really liked it. I'm a little bit out of touch with the comic book. I read the first 20 of Brian K. Vaughan and Adrian Alfona's run.
This is where a bunch of kids find out that their parents are supervillains.
Yeah, it's very much like OC meets fucking Legion of Doom, where you realize that, oh shit, my dad is a supervillain. Oh shit, they're killing people in the basement. Oh shit, we have a dragon? Yeah. So it's the humor is really there. The characters are really strong. The cast they got for this is really smart. And I ran into this dude who was like, hey, I've been a comic book nerd since I've been 11, and I love Fat Man, and I'm in fucking Runaways. I am the taller, thinner, handsomer version of you. And I said, well, then we should stand side to side so I can feel absolutely horrible about myself in front of other people. So yeah, Ryan Sands is in the house, who plays, where is he? Ryan, where are you? Come on!
Come on up. It's all the way down the other side. Now you got the long walk. Mark will fill in the walk for you.
The long walk. So yeah, Ryan was like, man, I love it. You should come to the premiere. I said I would love to come to the premiere. And he says, I'm a fan of the podcast. You should come on the fucking podcast. You got a show to promote. And like I said, I need to feel worse about myself. So.
Sir, how are you? Come on in. Sir. Give it up for Ryan, everybody.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here.
It's a cool place, isn't it?
Kev, oh yeah. Star Wars is why I'm in LA right now.
Why? Just love the movie.
When I saw Star Wars as a kid, I knew I wanted to be an actor. That was it. Like the lightsaber came up and it was a wrap. So now all these years later, I'm here standing with you guys. I made it, Mama. I made it.
If this is making it, you did not make it very far, unfortunately.
With my favorite childhood cereal right here, Frankenberry.
Frankenberry.
Yeah, I came bearing a gift.
Okay.
I knew a safe gift for you. Mark, I need some info, and you got an original coming. But this gift was birthed while listening to Fat Man on Batman a couple of years ago.
Oh my God.
So it's a mashup of about 10 or so of Batman's
Did you
roles.
draw this?
I did.
You draw as well?
I do.
Look at that shit. That's fucking awesome. How long you been a graphic artist? Fuck, man. It's unfair to be able to do two things. You can draw and act. That's wrong.
Man, I've been, a little nerdy kid drawing my comic books. I learned anatomy by studying John Byrne and Neil Adams and Jim Aparo and Sal and John Buscema. Is that how you pronounce the name?
Sal Buscema.
Yeah. So, that was what I did. And I kind of left it alone. I hit a little growth spurt in high school and started chasing the basketball around. And then I finally... I saw Love Jones in '97 and realized that I wanted to be an actor. That was the dream that I had suppressed all these years, and I just pursued that with everything I had. And like a few years ago, I'm like, oh yeah, I can draw. So I rediscovered it, and man, it has been a lifesaver.
It's good to be able to turn to something creative, particularly in this business, because this business is full of rejection.
Yes.
Like when you get a gig, you're like, fuck, this is amazing. But that happens irregularly. And more often than not, somebody's usually telling you no in one way or another. And so it's nice to be able to turn to something creative when there's some negativity over here. Like rather than concentrate on like, oh, shit ain't working. You can be like, this, I'm in control of this. I created some art. This exists now. And it makes you feel better just being creative in the first place. Nice to have that to be able to pivot to, but clearly getting a job ain't your problem right now. When did you get the gig? When did that happen? How did it happen?
Man, early this year. We shot the pilot in around February. And I got the audition, and you don't get a lot of details. It's like this untitled Marvel project. Mm-hmm. But then once I read the breakdown, I'm like, wait a minute, wait. It's parents, kids, and to be honest, like I didn't read Runaways. I had kind of left my comic book fandom kind of in the late 80s, early 90s. And then when I tried to come back, I think the art style was so abrupt, and then I'd missed so much that it was just too hard. So I'm like, all right, I'll just stick to the cartoons.
I feel like everybody has that weird moment. And for me, it was also in like the mid 90s, late 90s, where I just broke up with comics for a while. Yeah. I think it was the X-Men Extinction Agenda, whatever the fuck that was, where like 19 different covers and 48 different crossover issues, and it was just too much. Like I'm broken, I'm young, and I'm trying to date somebody. I can't spend all my money on fucking comic books, and you step away from it. But what pulled you back into it after that time?
Really it was like finding out there was a Marvel Unlimited app where I could go back and catch up on all this stuff. So when the audition came in, once I saw the breakdown, I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds like that Runaways thing. So I opened the app and like I'm flipping, and as soon as I saw Jeffrey Wilder, the character that I play, man, I just started laughing. Okay, I think I could, big, black, bald. I think I could, man, I just got to get the lines right, But it was just the audition process was a little. We got a great casting director. Patrick Rush is super great at what he does. But it was nerve-wracking the closer I got because...
How long was the whole process from the moment you heard about it to the moment you got cast?
It was a few weeks, I guess. You had the...
Doesn't it suck living with the uncertainty where you're like, man. I don't know, I think. And people are like, how'd it go? And you're like, well, I think it went well.
I left the screen test and I called my mother and she didn't pick up. And when she didn't pick up, I said, okay, you know what? I'm not saying anything to anybody about this. And then when it came and I got Jeff Loeb on the phone, and he welcomes me to Marvel. I was like, yeah, okay, thank you, Jeff. This is really cool, man. Got off the phone and just just nerded out. Yeah.
So that's right. That Jeff would oversee that, even though it's at Hulu, as opposed to Netflix or as opposed to ABC, they spread their shit out over a couple different networks at this point. So this is their first Hulu show. Is it all up yet? Did they put it all up? Is it happening?
Man, the official
or they do
drop,
weekly there?
Yeah, well, we're dropping the first 3,
okay,
and then it's weekly after that. But the official date is tomorrow, the 21st. It's the 21st on the East Coast now, so I think the episodes are available now on Hulu for us.
Fantastic. Did you get to watch them all in advance?
No,
or no?
just the pilot.
They show you that much.
Yeah.
Did you see other stuff like when you go in and like loop or anything like that?
Yeah, man. So I had my first ADR session. No, it was my second ADR session a couple of weeks ago, and they wanted me to do the previously Marvel's Runaways. And so I'm
they're like, can you say that? Can you
I think we're all doing it.
Everyone gets to do one.
And so I got my headphones on and I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, okay, all right. And I look up and I see the Marvel intro, the red screen, and I'm just like, and it beeps in my ear. I'm like, oh, whoa, hold on, take it back. Let me do it again. Let me get myself together here. So it was like, wow, this is really happening.
What is it like being a part of the Marvel universe? Where for a while you've been a spectator, a fan back in the day, and then watching the movies or the TV shows, I imagine, and then suddenly, like you say, you get the call from Jeff Loeb, and like you're part of it. You're part of a fraternity, sorority of some sort, a very special club. It's
surreal. It really is. I mean, especially to work on something that I would watch if I wasn't on it, you know. Mm-hmm. So it makes the long days like just go by, you know. And I hope and pray that this feeling never leaves, because it is truly. You know, behind my desk when I'm drawing or writing or whatever, like there's a picture of me as a 10-year-old kid with a Hulk t-shirt drawing, you know? So I'm looking at that every day and just like, wow, this is actually, I'm playing in this world that, you know, I've played in for so many years in my head and just have been a fan of, and to now walk out of my trailer onto a Marvel set is just crazy for me.
If I'm you, man, I would use the connections now, because they'll fucking let you draw a book, you know what I'm saying? Because they'll be able to market that and be like, from the guy who's on Runaways. Like, why not try to draw for him? You've been an artist your whole life and you've been a fan. But like, that's when I got a gig in the industry, or when they picked up my movie, one of the first things I did was, I want to get a job in comics, and I used the one to bridge over to the other. You've got an instant in, you're part of the Marvel family, man. If I'm you, I'd start asking around, be like, I'd like to draw a comic. You'd be surprised how quickly they'd be like, okay. Because they know they can sell, they can market off that. And it's one more way to like cross-promote their products, the book and the show. You should do it, man, because this is fucking genius artwork.
Thank you, man.
Legit great artwork.
Thank you. Oh, stop.
What about you? You got anything else for Ryan, Marc?
Yeah, I want to know a little bit about your path to Runaways. You know, where'd you grow up? What was the first gig? What was the first big gig? Like, if somebody wants to go back and say, I want to watch, this guy seems smart, let me dig down the rabbit hole. Where else can I find his face on my boxes, on my screen?
Yeah. All right. Well, several years ago, I was born in Washington, D.C., and that's where I got started. And I guess, you know, I was the king of industrial films in D.C., which is, you know, it's funny. Hi, I'm Ryan Sands, and today I'm going to talk to you about diversity here at the United States Postal Service. Like I was doing, say I was the king, I just meant I did a whole bunch of them, you know what I mean? And, but then...
We got to get the king!
Yeah. And a little show called The Wire came to town up the road in Baltimore, and I got called in like season 1 to be Idris Elba's stand-in. And I didn't get to work because it rained and we couldn't shoot the scene. And I had no idea Idris was British. I worked on it, so I got cast in season 3 in a recurring role as a cop, and I never worked with Idris, and I had no idea he was English. until like after I saw him on a BBC vampire show called Ultraviolet. I'm like, wow, he's killing that English accent right there. Like, really? But yeah, the Wire was like the first.
So season 3 was what?
Season 3.
Was that Amsterdam?
I think that was 4.
That was 4. So season 3, The Boys.
Yeah.
So season 1 was season 1.
Mm-hmm. Season 2 was at the docks.
Season 2 was the docks.
Yeah.
Season 3 was
the kids, the schools, right?
And was that Stringer Bell season as well? Like he made it to 4 or 3?
I think he made it to 3. Spoiler.
Spoiler.
It just doesn't do the whole run.
No, but
Not
he's
quite.
fantastic in it. What was that like, man? Working there, shit.
Man, it was
That's
a lot
a legendary
of fun.
show that like has produced a lot of talent behind the cameras and in front of the cameras for other shows. You see shows cherry pick The Wire like crazy because that cast was so fucking phenomenal. Look at you being a part of it too. Jesus Christ.
Man, it was so much fun. I mean, you would think that The Wire went to a lot of serious places, dark places. The material was weighty at times, but I genuinely had a great time. I worked with Seth Gilliam, my partner Benjamin Bush, and Dominic Lombardozzi, Bill Fisk, Kingpin's dad now, and Bill, right? I think. But anyway, yeah, it was like we had a lot of fun, and I was just really blessed. I consider myself tremendously blessed to be a part of something that is part of TV history.
It's true, and it's something on the resume where people go, "Oh, you were on The Wire."
Yeah, it helped open
Eventually,
some
it
doors when I
always
came to
happens.
town, so that was really cool.
Very, very
Yeah.
cool. What else, Mark?
You mentioned that you were a fan growing up.
Yeah,
What was your book of choice? What was your fucking go-to?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man. I was that kid walking into my parents' room asking them, is there some kind of liquid that I might be able to get my hands on that if I was to shoot it out of something, it would like kind of solidify and
They're like
still
Ryan's
be
discovered masturbation.
They're like, hey, whoa, hold on.
Keep
son.
all that to yourself, kid.
But they knew I was talking about webbing, web fluid and cartridges. But yeah, I was that kid with the underoos and the lunch boxes and the whole nine. It was all about Spider-Man back then.
Do they give you when you're on a Marvel show? Do you suddenly get like the keys to fucking Disney World and shit?
Nah, I haven't gotten them just yet. I think we might have to wait till season 2.
I feel like we want to see if this shit's gonna stick around. Then we'll give you free Disney tickets.
Marvel, they've been great, man. I got to meet Stan, and I had this like little mini speech prepared for this dude, and then when I saw him, all I could just do was like, Mr. Lee, gotta take a picture with you, man. I couldn't. And I had this Marvel shirt on. He's like, I like your shirt. And so we took a picture together. So that picture is next to that picture of little me in my Hulk t-shirt drawing, and that was a picture of me with Stan Lee on
How
the
crazy
set.
that kid wearing the Hulk shirt journeyed an entire lifetime to stand next to the other guy.
Crazy.
Who created the... What the fuck?
Son of a bitch.
It's just... We're too close to Hollywood Boulevard. Sudden noises make me very jumpy. All right, we good?
I think we're good, man.
God damn it, give it up for Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. The Runaways is on Hulu when you go home tonight, the first 3 episodes.
First 3.
Thank you for this. This is fantastic, man. Wow, that's fucking cool.
That was fun.
That is very cool. All right, so now we're done with the news.
We're done with the news.
We're done with talking to folks. Now we jump to Q&A. And Q&A, ladies and gentlemen, is going to get interesting this week. Last week, our friend Deacon, who works at 4DX, brought in tickets, just like he did this week. 4DX is a theater experience. They have it down at LA Live. It's when you watch a movie and you're sitting in a chair and the chair comes to life. So when you watch like a Marvel movie and they do the Marvel logo in the beginning, as it turns and shit, your chair literally like goes like this around the logo. If you're watching The Last Jedi, which will be opening soon in a 40X theater downtown, I guess next month, when the crawl happens, your seat goes back as the crawl is going forward. It's fucking spellbinding. If it snows in the movie, it snows in the theater. If a tire screeches by you, you smell burnt rubber. There's blasts of air. It's fucking nuts. It's a wonderful way to watch a movie. It's like going on like the Simpsons ride, the Shrek ride, the Back to the Future ride, but if it was one long movie.
It makes every movie a motion sim.
Oh, yes. It's fantastic. So, Deacon brought in tickets that were given away to folks asking questions, two a pop, presuming that nobody goes to the movie by themselves unless you're Marc Bernardin. So what we also have, though, aside from those tickets,
The sad Charlie Brown music now plays, as you imagine.
we got some swag, man, some cool shit that nobody really has outside of the world. Okay, so I work on The Flash and Supergirl and stuff. Oh, yeah! So he knows.
One guy is super excited.
So Armin, who I mentioned before, Armin Kevorkian is the special effects guy. He oversees everything. He's the guy that, like, you know, anything, time you see the Flash run or fucking Supergirl fly or fight an alien or some such shit that's not really there, he's the guy that's kind of like making sure that it's all there. He's also a director on some of the episodes. Anyway, he brought me a bunch of fucking swag. He came and did an episode of the podcast. And so he brought me like some cool ass fucking Flash stuff. This right here, it's like a lineup of all the Flash bad guys.
That's pretty sweet.
So it's, it's got King Shark, it's got Grodd, I think, yes, Parasite, all the characters that they've kind of brought to life. This is a really cool ass Flash shirt that shows Flash like it's the Jaws poster, but it's Flash, and King Shark's under him and stuff like that. So, if you ask a good question, and it's got to be good, we're going to be judgy as shit. You can't, seriously, because this is good quality shit that we're giving out now and stuff.
This is not pass-fail.
Yeah, you can't be like, hey, what happened to Moose Jaws? Fucking find out on the internet. You got to keep it relevant. You got to keep it to the subject matter. It helps if we're both involved. Don't direct your questions just at me and stuff. But if your question's fucking cool enough and it leads to a cool discussion, you will not only win 2 tickets to a 4DX cinema, you win the t-shirt of your choice. So there it is. Think very hard and carefully. And don't get shitty if we're like, that ain't good enough. Like, we may answer it, but it may be not good enough. Maybe like, I'll be like, all right, that's good enough for sure, but not tickets or vice versa and shit. We'll see. We'll be judgy. But just letting you know in advance, this is the part of the show where we get really shitty and on a high horse. JC's got the microphone because for a while people were bitching at home. Hey, we can't hear the fucking questions. So we're going to make sure that's taken care of. JC, you pick the people. It's in your hands. Go ahead. Pick the first one. Q&A begins, ladies and gentlemen. Fat Man and Batman Q&A. Give us your energy. Put your hands together. Yes.
Yeah. Kevin and Mark, seeing Justice League, a movie I never thought I would see in my entire life. Like, let the six unite. Wondering, what movie would you really like to see? Like, I would love to see more of the Fourth World. Let Taika Waititi do the New Gods and just blow the cosmic world away. What would you like to see? I'm
with you. I mean, last week I said I'd love to see a question movie, but now that we're in the world of the New Gods, like it was thrilling to hear him say Dark Side. It was like I know a lot of people are shitting on Steppenwolf as a villain. They're like, he's one big CG character, but to me, I'm like, yeah, but that's the doorway to the Fourth World, man. And like, they showed fucking boom tubes in the movie, dude. Like that made me so thrilling. And there were so fucking many. You almost got tired of them, but there was a time in your life where the only time you'd ever see a boom tube was on the page of a comic book, maybe in Superman animated series or something like that, or maybe in the Superpowers show way back in the day when they did it there for a bit. But shit like that was like, oh my God, you can keep going. And space allows you to tell different stories where you're not just like, hey, Batman's there. Like you can you could go through DC's rich history and tell other cool stories. You know, they went to space once with Green Lantern, didn't work out for them, and now they don't seem interested in going back. But they got a lot of characters that belong up there. So I'm with you, man. I think like going so crazy Jack Kirby deep and into the fourth world would be fun to see. Sadly, it's never going to happen. You?
I kind of want Hitman.
Yeah!
That's
a way better answer.
I kind of...
Garth Ennis
and John McCrea.
John McCrea had this series that was set in the DC universe.
Yeah, like smack dab in the middle of it.
Tommy Monahan was a hitman who got superpowers, and so he was a little more advanced. But he did shit like, remember he fought the dog welder? The guy who would just weld dogs to dogs and other people and shit.
I remember when he had to fight zombie baby seals.
Yes.
Which was basically an excuse to show clubbing of baby seals in a DC
yeah.
comic book.
It was a very funny book. Yeah, I would like to see that. That's a good idea.
But I feel like there's a way to help shift the tonal conversation about DC movies into a place where it doesn't rely so much on, again, the stentorian feeling of just seeing these heroes on screen, and let me have a good time. Like, show me a part of the DC universe I've never seen before. You know, I've been to Themyscira. I've been to Gotham. I've been to Metropolis. I've been on that
you're
fucking
spoiled though. We
Kryptonian
only went
shit for 3 movies in a row.
We only went to Themyscira like once. You can't already be like, I'm fucking jaded by that island. No, especially with the sequence in the movie, it was so fucking thrilling.
Yeah, but it's the same island though, dude.
That's a good point.
So yeah, that's my pick. Hitman is my pick.
Hitman is an excellent pick. All right, man, that's a good enough question. You get the tickets, and do you want a shirt or a Justice Society of America hat? Gigantor? Oh, a big one? Oh, in terms of size? I have one that's way too big for you. This is a 5X Punisher shirt. You could wear that with 3 other people.
Yeah.
I don't think you want that. But
you could hoist that on a mizzen mast.
They don't. Their biggest one is like 2XL, but trust me. It ain't a real 2XL. Because I pulled it on, I heard. So, you know. There's an XL. And you get 2 tickets. All right, well done, man. Give it up for him. All right, JC, where are we going next?
Ooh, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So going off of what you guys were saying about Ben Affleck, now he's exiting after just 2 movies.
Mm-hmm. Is there a microphone on? Because I can't hear it.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Not really. Is there a microphone on? Or is that more just for home use? It is?
Yeah.
It's for the home thing. All right, go ahead. My bad.
Sorry. So
No, it ain't you shouldn't be sorry. I literally cut you off to talk technical shit.
That's okay.
These are for the tickets. We got to be serious now. Go ahead.
So now that Ben Affleck is thinking about leaving after 2 movies, there's some talks on the internet that possibly Jake Gyllenhaal could be replacing him.
There
I don't
weren't
know.
talks. The internet today was sitting around going, who should replace Ben Affleck? And a lot
So
of
I was just wondering what you guys thought of
Jake
that.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. I was wondering what you guys thought of that, as if he does, say yes to becoming the Batman, as, being Jake Gyllenhaal and all of his...
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I think I'd be for Jake Gyllenhaal Batman. He wasn't the first guy I thought of, but why not? Like, I think he could pull it off. If they're gonna recast completely, I would prefer they go for John Hamm. I doubt it'll happen, but he fucking looks like Bruce Wayne and Batman all at once, and he's a hell of an actor and stuff. So he could pull off charming and funny. He's fucking funny when he's on SNL. And he could pull off dark. We've seen him be Dom Draper, dark stuff. So I think he'd be a fucking badass Batman. I'd vote for Ham. You? I'm always about Ham.
I don't mind Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, I think that he's a very talented actor, and remembering what he looked like in Southpaw, he got fucking
ripped. Yeah. Oh my God, that's right. He could totally carry off the Batman body. He's not very tall though, is he?
No, he's a wee actor lad.
He's not a leprechaun.
Are you sure?
Yeah, good point.
Have you seen gold near him?
I'm trying to think. I have met him. Like back when I was working on the Green Hornet movie in Miramax, he was a guy that they really wanted. So they were like, why don't you meet with Jake Gyllenhaal? And if I remember correctly, I think Jake Gyllenhaal don't want me to talk about this shit. If I remember correctly, I think I made a mistake. I think he came over and I made a mistake. Or maybe I'm mistaking him with Topher Grace. I definitely made that motherfucker a steak. He came over to talk about Fletch. Gyllenhaal came over to talk about, but he went to the old office. Yeah, but he was a sweet kid, real good. And he would have been a great Britt Reed. This is long before Seth Rogen did his version and stuff. So nice kid, man. I think he could totally pull. And he's right. He did get ripped for Southpaw. So I guess he could physically
he could
pull
do it.
But John Hamm is fucking the perfect Bruce Wayne.
I feel like he's a hair too old, though.
Fuck that. They keep putting fake gray into Affleck's hair. Like, they're trying to age him up. Take an age-appropriate guy.
My favorite part one of my favorite parts of Justice League is when you see him you can spot the reshoots when he goes to Iceland or wherever the fuck that is, because his toupee is different.
Affleck's hair?
Yeah. There's a widow's peak in half of those shots, and there's like a swept across on the other one. And it just keeps like A-being, like, what's happening? Why is his face weird? I don't get it.
I was not looking that close. I was too busy studying Superman's lip.
But I've been a little like sitting through as much of Punisher as I've been sitting through. There's a guy on there who plays Billy Russo.
I'm gonna make you wear it in your fucking mouth.
Ben Barnes is playing Frank Castle's former confidant and compatriot.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. He's basically playing Bruce Wayne, ultimately, who also runs a mercenary outfit and is
Oh, really?
Yeah, but there's like a sinewy
I like his
silkiness.
performance.
Yeah, like he's a little like he's got a hair of New York in there, but it's still like, yeah, I could fucking see that guy. And he feels just young enough that you're not having to hope that he doesn't like get arthritis going through the fucking paces, which is my fear for Hamm. Hamm is about as old as Affleck, which is probably older than they want for the next Batman.
They think they want to go young.
I think they want to go younger. If the Batman is going to be a origin story-ish or a year one
They
story-ish,
said more. They didn't even say that. They just said more of a detective story, which would be very interesting. And noirish, they said as well.
But I mean,
Batman Beyond would be like the obvious choice for those of us who are like, look, you want to get rid of the old Batman, doesn't bring in the young Batman. This is perfect. And kind of they're doing that with Iron Man and Spider-Man right now and Homecoming and stuff. But I don't think they're going to listen to us. I think they think that's too that's too deep cuts. But I think you could totally pull off a Batman Beyond movie.
I mean, you get Michael Keaton back as Bruce Wayne.
You just shot me with the nostalgia bullet. Oh my God, yes, bitch. And then do your Crisis movie? That's amazing. All right, that was a good enough question. That generated conversation. You get the tickets. Pick out one of these, take these tickets. Meanwhile, JC's taking us somewhere. JC, take us there. Okay.
Oh, hey.
How you doing?
Hey.
You mentioned Justice League, and then she just brought up Batman Beyond really clearly. But now that they're portraying older Batman, to portray older in the sense of how Superman would look up to him, do you think for Justice League 2 or the aspect of Man of Steel 2, they're going to lean towards Man of Steel against Brainiac, or maybe Vandal Savage coming in, taking over that whole Legion of Doom aspect and creating that whole extra supervillains, sub-supervillains, and creating that world? Do you think that should be the direction they lead into?
I mean, look, you're talking to a fan, so naturally I'm like, put as many fucking bad guys as the screen as possible and as many villains and have them run at each other and it explodes. So I hope so. I as we said earlier, I do hope that they let Henry have his own Man of Steel movie again, like Man of Steel 2, and I do hope if it was Brainiac, that'd be great. But if they wanted to do Legion of Doom instead, I'm all okay for that. Smells like they're doing Injustice League or Injustice Gang or something like that. I like the fact that already they've got two villainous-looking villains sitting together on a yacht talking. Lex Luthor being bald and fucking Deathstroke looking like Deathstroke. We're really looking like Deadpool. Like in the first scene, like as they were behind him on the boat, I was like, Deadpool's in this motherfucker? And then it was Deathstroke instead. But that's what I'd like to see. Them just go like, here's all the fucking villains. Like just throw it all at the wall and see what fucking sticks. And you could tell a cool story, man. Like why not do Grant Morrison's Rock of Ages storyline, which begins as an Injustice Gang story and then turns into a time-traveling fucking epic. Like that's if I was going to pick source material, that's what I'd pick. There was a run on Justice League that Grant Morrison did. It's called Rock of Ages. It's one of the greatest comic book stories ever fucking compiled and ever told. And it's, now you get it as a graphic novel. But it involves everybody. Every league character, all your fucking favorite villains and shit. All of it fucking makes sense. I would pick that. You?
I kind of want a Bizarro movie. I think Henry Cavill is a better actor than I guess the DC universe gives him credit for being.
Yeah. He was wonderful on. I used to love
Tudors.
The Tudors. Yeah, and he was
he's
Henry's
fantastic.
best friend. Yeah.
He was really good in Man from U.N.C.L.E., even though nobody saw it but me. But I think that fucking Bizarro, like give me Superman fighting against his own twisted, warped version of himself. Like, show me what it's like to see the betrayal of science.
We saw that in Superman 3. He fought himself in a garbage dump and shit like that. But you saying Henry would play Bizarro as well?
I think so.
I mean, that would make up for the fact that he literally he had like, what, 6 minutes in Justice League at most?
Yeah, a lot of it is involving corn. Fuck, look at this corn.
Yeah. You smell good. Did I used to smell bad? Fuck you. You just got back. Let's not bicker. Yeah.
I feel like, Brainiac, I love the idea of a Brainiac movie. I love the idea of a Brainiac plus Bizarro movie. Fucking just bring it. Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah, all the villains, honestly. And now we live in an era where you can get away with the goofiest fucking costumes. You think back to the first fucking X-Men movie, and they're all in black, and Logan makes a joke about what do we want to wear, yellow spandex or something? We now live in the world where you can get away, bless you, with all those fucking outfits. The goofier, the fucking better. Show me a live action Toy Man. That'd be fucking amazing. So I hope they lean into that. That's what that last scene felt like. And yes, it was definitely a sop to the fans and shit, but who's buying these tickets if not the fucking fans? So that, at the end of the movie, gave me hope where I was like, yeah, man, now they're going to lean into the fun of this shit as opposed to, how sad it is to be a superhero. Now they're going to fucking be like, all right, they're going to fight their equals. It's the challenge of the Super Friends, the show from when I was a kid. I hope they do it. I don't know what happens now. I mean...
So that's why I was thinking Vandal Savage, who's an immortal aspect of it. And he warps time. They have to go in.
The only thing is I'm not a big Vandal Savage guy. They did him on CW, and I'm like, that's enough. All right, you get that generated enough conversation. You get some tickets. Pick out one of these fine shirts. JC's going to take us to someone else.
Hey guys.
Hey.
So I feel like Marvel really does diversity great. I feel like DC has a long history of not having it in their comic books, and they're trying to compensate in the movies. How would you fix it in their movie universe? And I don't just mean black guys.
How would I fix it? Well,
How would we fix it?
Together.
Like Bob the Builder? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. I was glad Cyborg was there, but I was puzzled as to why it wasn't the Jon Stewart Green Lantern. For 10 years, kids watched that Justice League cartoon, and their Green Lantern was not Hal Jordan, it was fucking Jon Stewart. So it made no sense to me why they wouldn't just, Lantern's of one of the founding members of the League, you might as well fucking include him and stuff, but they went with Cyborg, which bugged me as a traditionalist, because I'm like, no, he's in the Titans, you idiots, but they didn't fucking care. So naturally, I would start with Jon Stewart. We talked about an old episode of fucking Fat Man on Batman. I think Idris Elba would make a fantastic Bruce Wayne / Batman. So if I was in charge of the universe, I would be like, let's fucking do this. And I know some people would be like, he's too old now. Fuck it. Then you do the old version of him.
There's also no reason, granted, they sort of burned the bridges of Jonah Hex with that movie, but there's no reason that Idris Elba couldn't be Jonah Hex either. Not that you want to muss up that fucking face.
Why would you want to watch another Jonah Hex? We had to sit through it once, man.
I think there's a world in which you make a decent Jonah Hex movie if you do it right. And I think that, the comic book is a shit ton of fun. Not that you want to just sort of race bend every character in the DC universe just for diversity's sake, because that doesn't make sense.
But honestly, why not? Like, in a world where you got to sell books and you got to move product and you got to create stories, why not? Why not just be like, hey, fucking now we're doing this for a while, and now we'll flip back and do this? Like, why not? Like, it would sell some books. It would generate conversation. Granted, a lot of the conversation would be like, bring back my old heroes. I'm a racist. But still, it would generate conversation and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I think there's, incorporating the Milestone universe into DC proper sort of helps out a little bit. I would watch a Static Shock movie tomorrow if you told me there was going to be one. I mean, I
did you say Way?
Way.
That was awesome. He's Way. I'd Way watch Static Shock.
I mean, there are times when race bending works. There are times when it doesn't work. I mean, as much as I love Idris Elba, I feel like Bruce Wayne is an intrinsically Caucasian concept. Because
Ooh. Discuss. that sounds interesting as fuck.
Because the Wayne family is old money, like real old money, like Carnegie old money. And there is no black Carnegie. There is no generations of black wealth that you can live off of. There's no hereditary butler in that way. It is the idle dream of the legacied rich is what Batman is. And the guilt that you feel, that your family feels after having been nestled in the bosom of a place like Gotham and watched it go to shit. And so I'm going to do something because my dad was a doctor. Didn't have to be a doctor, fucking rich as fuck. But decided to give back.
When I was a kid, I thought that's where he got all his money. I was like, fuck, those doctors make loot. Jesus. But yeah, he was a dilettante. His dad didn't have to be a doctor. He chose to be a doctor. They were rich either way. Crazy rich.
Super rich.
You're right, I never
rich
thought
from
about
England
that.
rich.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like that lends itself as well to the African American story, to the story of black people in America suddenly finding themselves with too much fucking money.
So much money, like, let's fight crime in a costume. That's sick money.
That's sick money.
That's bored rich people money.
Like even Oprah doesn't do shit like that, and she's got the most money.
Yeah.
So I feel like you can do that as long as it makes sense within the context of what the character's supposed to be. I don't have a problem with the Ancient One being Tibetan, or technically when the Ancient One being Nigerian, or the Ancient One being whatever. Every 100 years you get a new Ancient One. Make it a different one. That's why I didn't have the biggest problem in the world with Tilda Swinton. As long as you told me, oh no, we're going to cycle this one out because the next one is going to be a fat Buddhist from someplace else. Cool. I'm on board. It has to make some kind of internal sense to do it. But I think the real diversity comes when you create new characters, when you empower creators to bring something new to what is a 80-year-old universe and say, hey, I don't know, we fix it. I don't have a
nobody's letting me fix anything, man. They're like, you do yoga hosers, fuck off. So they're not asking me.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're a comic book company, then your job should be to talk to as many people as you can, to open the doors to as many creators as you can, so that you can get a plurality of opinions, that you can get a diversity of perspectives, and that will always make the books a little bit better, and ultimately will always make you more money. That's the part that I never quite understand, that they don't understand, is that diversity is an engine for economic growth. And if you're perilously clinging on to an outmoded publishing model, then you need as many fucking legs up as you can get. So try it. What's the worst that can happen? You're gonna have books that don't sell. You already have books that don't sell. Now they're gonna be interesting books that don't sell. And now there's going to be some kid somewhere who reads that book and is like, oh, fuck, I didn't know that I could do this, or I didn't know that I was represented here. Maybe I'm going to make a comic book. And
saying all that good shit, and everyone at home's like, I can't hear them. Turn it up.
But ultimately, it's less about how we fix diversity, because we're old men who nobody's asking how to fix diversity, except for you. Thank you very much. That's adorable. But
look, I tried to fix Batman, but Mark thinks he needs to be a white guy, so there it is.
The black guy said he needs to be
actually
white.
really convincing, where I'm like, oh my God, you're right.
But yeah, it ultimately happens by the people who sign the checks and who greenlight the books, and who should be forced in one way or another to interview more than the people they already know.
I'm sorry, this is off topic, but did you watch Saturday Night Live this weekend?
Yeah.
Did you see the Batman sketch? So they did a sketch like where, Bruce Wayne opens his house up for Thanksgiving or whatever, and so underprivileged people are coming through the house and stuff, and everybody keeps talking about Batman, about how violent Batman is. He's like, he broke my fucking jaw. Like, and what was it? He was like, I was jaywalking or something like that. And so
I was getting something out of my trunk.
People keep coming in. They're going, you guys talk about Batman? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, he's so hard. And they tell stories about unnecessary roughness. And Batman's there, Bruce Wayne's there. And he's like, well, I'm sure he means well. I'm pretty sure he beats up people who look just like us. It's a really funny fucking sketch.
But yeah, I mean, it's not for us to fix diversity. It's for other people to do so. But us to just sort of remind folks that it's the best possible decision you can make is to incorporate more voices and not less.
Tickets. You won tickets. And a shirt. Come grab a shirt. How about, all right, take a hat. Justice Society hat. Sure. All right, JC, we got one set of tickets left. One question left, and the show is at an end.
No pressure.
I know. So pick a good one, JC.
I love Bernie Wrightson. I mean, he really influenced me as an artist growing up.
Bernie Wrightson?
Yes, and you wrote I really liked your version of Swamp Thing. So talking about moving away from the usual superhero things, you have this House of Secrets, House of Mystery, all this other material that's not Marvel related. So you're not going head to head with Marvel.
Not capes, not superheroes necessarily.
That's really rich.
Yes. So the question is,
how about that? I mean, it's a way.
Great idea.
That is, all right, well, let's talk about that. House of Secret, DC for years did more than just superheroes, capes and stuff. They got a rich legacy of non-superhero characters. A lot of them got scapped up by the Vertigo universe. So let's use the Vertigo universe as an example. If you want to tell a story that Marvel can't tell the Sandman. That's a story they've been trying to do for fucking years, and that's a comic book story straight out their universe. Tell the Swamp Thing. Tell a smart version of the Swamp Thing. Not that the Wes Craven version was dumb, but it was definitely more rubber suits and stuff. But, now with special effects, you can grow that guy. Used to be somebody had to wear a rubber suit, but now you can do him forming out of the fucking ground and stuff. So yeah, lean into that. I guess I'm all for that, but obviously I'm not in charge. Will it work? Or could it work? I think so. Why not? Well-told stories should work, period. And in a world where you're right, the moment they put suits on, they're competing against Marvel on some level because it's just superhero storytelling. Maybe try to tell a superhero story like the way Fox seems to be doing. The New Mutants trailer doesn't look like a superhero movie, looks like a horror movie. So, maybe DC should be doing Swamp Thing or doing some of the darker shit, Hellblazer or something like that. Mark?
Yeah.
That means you get tickets, man. You want tickets to this thing? Come on up and pick out a shirt. How adorable. You sent a runner. Wait, but take a shirt too, man. Take a shirt. Runner, come back.
What ho from the front?
It's making you work out like crazy. There's this. Pick one. I know, yeah. They're sexy sizes, to be honest with you. That's why I brought them in. I was like, I'll never fit in any of these. There was one extra small that I was like, Jesus. There you go. There it is. Give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. Is there anything else we want to cover?
I got nothing, man.
You're empty at this point?
I'm tapped.
You didn't what? What do you mean? You got tickets, but you didn't get a shirt? Yeah, grab a shirt. Good idea. Look at you with a fucking gun show in town and shit. You got the muscles for
give
one
him
of
the
these
extra
shirts,
small.
Man. Yeah, get him the small one so he can show off the guns.
It's the length thing. It looks like an Uncle Lumpo, but it's tied up here, so it's not.
Nah, man, chicks dig it.
Give it up for him. He got a shirt. All right, folks. Have you had a good time this evening? I was real worried, man, that we were, the Justice League shit was going to be depressing, but it was actually kind of hopeful. I thought you were going to go harder against it than you did. I'm glad you didn't. I thought it was going to be like, you're like, and another fucking thing. Before we get out of here, though, let's talk comic books real quick. Ooh. I got sent this big box this week in the mail, the post, ladies and gentlemen.
Are they pancakes?
Yes, it is the Doomsday Clock box. The Doomsday Clock comic book, written by Jeff Johns, published by DC, is supposed to bring together the DC universe as we know it and the Watchmen universe. The Watchmen characters are going to be incorporated into the DC universe. Some people find this controversial because Alan Moore wants nothing to do with DC or whatever. Some people feel like, hey man, they're comic book characters, DC owns them, they should be able to do what they want. I don't know where I stand on the scale of things. I love The Watchmen by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons, but at the same time, it's such a great concept. You could keep fucking telling stories and stuff. And the idea of like, oh my God, those cats like interacting with Batman and Superman is kind of thrilling. So they sent this out this week. It came with a comic book, issue 1 of Doomsday Clock, but it also came with Joe's Pancake Mix. And they also sent it out with a little 100% pure maple syrup. And then there's this, it's like a pin, and it's the Doomsday Clock with the Superman S at the top. And of course, like I said, issue 1 of Doomsday Clock. So a really sweet package in this letter that explains shit, that says, what it all is. It's a new 12-issue graphic story from Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. Looks phenomenal. Like the art, of course, Gary Frank, it's beautiful. Jeff Johns, inarguably one of the greatest comic book writers of all time and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's in really good hands. This is a cool thing, but I'll be honest with you kids. At my house, it will get piled under a bunch of other shit, and I'll rediscover it in 5 years ago, like, oh, what is this? So rather than that happen, I guarantee you there's somebody out there who's a big DC Comics fan in this room. Who is it? Oh, your hand went up fucking fast. What is it?
You got that dude shut up wearing a cowl.
You're wearing a Fat Man shirt, but you already got tickets and a thing, but he's got a shirt, and he's also got the cowl. You fucking won. Sit down, dude. Fuck. Greedy. My man came with a bunch of shit. Do you read DC Comics? Oh, yeah. You go every week to the comic book store? I've been sort of lost. I live in Lake House. I do watch a comic store every week. Do you give a fuck about this? But do you like really give a fuck about it? Oh, yeah.
Or do you just want pancakes?
Or do you just, if you want pancakes.
Because both movies are done by Snyder and everything. And
right.
I got this whole little theory about, what's the name? Now I got a brain fart. Flash's father plays as Flash's, he's
Billy Crudup, yeah.
He's also,
Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, the Naked Blue Man.
Yes,
Dr. Manhattan. You know what I mean? So I got this little theory that they might try bringing in, that way, but because it's kind of coincidental he's playing the same part. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, I kind of like waiting for this kind of stuff to go on. I've been watching this stuff for a long time, ever since Batman discovered the button in the cave.
Right, in the comic. All right,
yeah.
man, fucking there it is. Then you win it. It goes home with a fan and stuff. All right, anything else from you, my friend?
No, I didn't come bringing pancakes, so I'm flat out. I wasn't told this was the home goods part of the show.
This is my favorite part of the show now is when we do Q&A, because like I get so much stuff that it's like I can give it away, and it's cool shit. Like those Flash shirts are badass. You can't get those out in the world. You can only get them if like you worked on the show. So I'm like, I got all this shit at home. Like I got copies of the shirts that I give out whenever I do episodes, when I direct episodes, like Supergirl shirts and Flash shirts. So I was like, I should start bringing them in, giving them out during the fucking Q&A and stuff. Mm-hmm. Everybody'd ask a question. Yeah, it's fun. Like get a chance, like door prizes and shit like that. But I do that because I enjoy the fuck out of doing this show. It's fucking fun. I love the casual format. I love being here at Scum and Villainy. It's a great place to do the fucking show. People can drink and it's not very often in life you go to a bar, get fucking drunk, and geek out. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody fights. There's never been any problems and shit. It's a real good vibe to the show doing it right here. So, I don't know. Anything for me to make it better makes me happier about the whole thing. And giving out shit during the Q&A just makes me happy. We couldn't have done it, though, without Deacon and the folks at 40X. Give it up for the 40X Theater down at LA Live. And that's about all the time we have for the show this week, ladies and gentlemen. For Fat Man on Batman, I've been Kevin Smith.
I've been Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next episode, which is, we're shooting here next week on Monday?
Yeah, 27th.
We'll be back here on the 27th, which I think is next week.
Yes, it is.
And yes, until then, happy Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. For Fat Man on Batman, I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time, same fat time, same fat channel, smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Happy Thanksgiving, folks.
Peace out.